Welcome back, everybody, to another great episode of Banter on the Rocks. Today is Monday, July 27th. Got myself, Tim, here today, and John, as always. And we've got another loaded episode for everybody watching. If this is your first time checking out the show, welcome to the chaos. And to everybody who taps in with us each and every week, we appreciate all the support more than you'll ever know. And make sure you hit that subscribe, follow button, and turn on notifications so you never miss a weekly drop with the boys. And on today's lineup, we're going to be getting into our latest Banter takes, some NBA talk, got NFL news going. NFL is back in training camp times. And then we got some fantasy on the rocks, where we're going to kind of dive into some NFL fantasy football stuff ahead. And of course, much, much more. And you already know how we do it. Real conversations, unfiltered opinions, questionable takes, and plenty of banter along the way. And as we do each and every single week, we're kicking things off with our banter drinks of the week, what we're sipping on, why we chose it, and how it's actually carrying our energy for today's episode. It's been hot. It's been real hot, John. Anybody, I think Western states of the U.S. is feeling the heat. Maybe much of the United States is feeling the heat. It has been boiling, so I am just going straight to a very cold beer, having 8:05 this Monday. But delicious. It's icy cold. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, no, a cold beer from like you got to put it in the freezer for a bit. Don't let it get too frozen, but it's good in these warm weather times here in SoCal. I am sticking with what I normally do, some Te Salud and tequila. I got back from the gym a while ago. That's why I look a little disheveled. Getting back on that health kick, getting a little tough. Also, along with the health kick, going to the range. Went twice last week.
Very nice.
Getting some swings in. My hand's a little sore from that first day. Yeah, I think I did I think I got 80 balls from the machine, and then there were like 15 balls just hanging out there, and so I got 15 free ones. So
very nice.
Getting into that swinging motion. So need that electrolytes, and Te Salud is one of the go-to brands to just get that energy, get those electrolytes, that hydration.
That's phenomenal. I need to get back out to the range. The first day I went to the range, I think I hit 120 balls. Got the biggest bucket they had. I was just going for it. Blisty's finally healed. No Band-Aids this week, everybody. But certainly, they feel, like kind of scabbed over a bit.
Yeah.
They healed up pretty quick, actually. They're getting durable. They're getting ready. You got to train the hands a bit. And I probably have to correct my grip altogether, because that probably should not happen. Shout out Andy in the office. Got some blisties.
Yeah.
It's fun, though. Glad to hear you're getting out.
It is fun. Yeah, there's this one place, Camarillo. If you're in the 805, down the grade, I think it's Camarillo Springs. What I like about that range is that they have a machine that tracks how far you hit it. So it tracks like your distance, the air time.
Yeah.
So it's not like I had to guess, which I don't mind guessing, but I enjoyed it because I was able to see just all my shots, and I kept it in the middle, but barely got in the air. I think I'm clearing about 100 yards probably right now with all my clubs.
No, that's great. That's pretty sweet. I need to check out that range, because the one I went to was an LA public course out in San Fernando, and it was the old school like wood signs. I think somebody hit. I for sure hit one sign or a trash can. I can't remember what the hell it was. And then somebody hit the sign that fell over. So you're kind of like squinting at, what does that say? 150 out there. It's like paints it on. But hey, plenty of room to hit the ball, and I think that's all I could ask for. So
no. So it was really cool. But yeah, that's what
stuff
the week's been. But yeah, hydrating, getting back on that gym kick. Just got to try to working on my back too for those swings, because I felt it. I felt sore.
It's a torque. Yeah, no, just forearms, you probably feel it.
Yeah.
It's good though. It feels like you break a
Yeah.
sweat, and it's like, oh, I'm burning some
Yeah.
calories out here.
Yeah. It did something. It did something. My aura ring did track my golf activity. It said, "Oh, you were golfing today." I was like, "Yes, I was."
Damn, hell yeah! You're like, yeah, we can tell by the amount of cuss words you said.
Yeah. How many times you hit the ground?
Right? Yeah.
Uh,
Son of a
no,
good
but
stuff.
but that's what I'm sticking with today. Taste salud, tequila, and we'll go into our banter takes. This is where we have no preparation, no warnings, no idea what's coming next. Each week, we bring our hottest takes to the table without telling each other beforehand, so every reaction, every disagreement, and every meltdown is completely real. Some takes will be smart, some takes will be terrible, and at least one of us will probably upset an entire fan base. So we'll get into our takes. My first take, I had just a take like this for you as well.
Damn, that's good. Double whammy.
All right. ESPN laying off more talent proves fans following personalities more than networks. Yeah, I'll tell you what my take was. It was sports media is becoming the NBA. Pay your superstars, let everyone else fight for what's left. That is what ESPN is after the recent layoffs. And ESPN is with these recent layoffs, it's crazy because it's not the first time, and it's not even affecting just ESPN. I saw it's affecting Disney. It's affecting a lot of that Disney company, and I think what they're doing is gonna be a mistake, and I think it's why a lot of people have already pushed away from ESPN. Um, I think from what I hear, they're prepping to pay Pat McAfee probably one of the biggest contracts. He is the biggest name there, next to maybe Adam Schefter for the NFL and a few others. But ESPN laying off some good talent, I honestly think it's good. It's almost like our take last week, where late night TV is dying to podcasts. ESPN is dying to podcasts as well, because I assure you there will be 3 to 4 new podcasts out within the next few weeks that will have more fan base, more followers, more viewers than ESPN shows have altogether. And they're making such a big mistake with that. When I was writing the take for you, I was thinking it in my head. I was like, I think as a kid, a goal was always to want to work for ESPN. That's the ideal plan. And nowadays, I don't know if I would want to. I think I'd want to keep this, want this to grow, create a loyal fan base and following, and not sort of succumb to what ESPN is doing. And ESPN is doing a Sports Center, all the shows. Like I said, I think there's only 2 shows I probably watch, if anything, and that's pretty much Pat McAfee, and I think that might be it. I'll watch clips here and there of Stephen A. Smith, but Stephen A. Smith sometimes just gets on my nerves and don't really want to watch him too much. So, um, yeah, they're laying off talent, and it's crazy because, like I said, their network is dying. It's a dying breed, and what they've created is people that used to be fans, probably not fans anymore. And like I say, the dream for me was as a kid as an athlete, sports lover, to be work for ESPN. But nowadays, I don't want to touch ESPN.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It's a great take here, John. I strongly believe the trail in which that ESPN is going is just the complete like U-turn of success. It's just polar opposite of what they need to do in order to make their network successful. There's a big reason why nobody's tuning into any of their shows anymore, because all of the great personalities have left over the years. And in my opinion, ESPN's just kind of turned into like a glorified TMZ for sports.
Yeah,
It's just, it's just kind of on that level where, really their 2 biggest figures, or maybe 2 out of 3 of their biggest figures, being Schefter and Shams. It just seems like who's going to be first to break the news for NBA and NFL. And that's really all it comes down to. And they just want to be the first there. And then when they go and elaborate on it, it's just kind of a bunch of blah. It's like, okay, well, the biggest news is out. LeBron's going to Philly for 2 years, $8 million. And it's like, after that, I mean, we'll listen to maybe some clips here and there of, what they have to say, but genuinely, like, watching the whole show, it's just the personalities get really bland. It's boring. They don't do highlights really like they used to, and if they do them, it's just kind of hot garbage. It's kind of just like a a dollar store version of what it used to be, and it's just not a good watch. But I grew up idolizing guys like Stuart Scott. I thought every little nickname he had for somebody, anything he had to say, he made highlights and he made sports cool. And he was just such a legend when he did it. And then Chris Berman, growing up with NFL, he'd have his quickest 2 minutes, and go over the entire slate of Sunday football, and just listening to him grunt and his small like little sayings, and he was just so awesome to listen to. I know he's still with ESPN, but it's on a much smaller degree now. And and then every episode, it seems like I bring up Dan Patrick. He was just one of those personalities I love to watch, and he went off, and he's a perfect example of he went off and started his own thing, and he has the freedom to go over and do whatever he wants now, and he's been incredibly successful. And a name that I also want to bring up, because she was recently on his show, she's been kind of doing a number of shows, was Linda Cohn. She's been there for years and decades and decades. I think maybe she was approaching like 40 years, I believe. I think it was 34 years to be exact. And she too has now gone on to start her own podcast. And I follow her, and she's kind of clipped, some USA Today article or New York Post article recently that she was kind of going after ESPN for the recent layoffs. And her show is gaining a lot of attention because of her inside peeks at what's truly going on behind the scenes. And I think a lot of people value her opinion. She was there 34 years. I see I see why not. I'm sure the people that are laying off these TV personalities haven't even been there as long as she has. So it's one of those things where everybody that enjoyed watching her on TV will follow her and is watching her podcast. And she really ripped into him. She said ESPN's handling of all the layoffs is, she said, buffoonery. She said that the company showed zero respect for longtime employees, and I think that goes beyond just probably her. It goes for Carl Ravitch, is another big name that was recently laid off. Dan Patrick went through the same thing previously. You can bring up Ryan Clark. I know he's been there last decade. Obviously, he's kind of a polarizing figure with ESPN, but still a big personality and got a lot of views when he was there. And he was recently laid off, and I think mid-show as well.
I think I heard that.
Yeah, so it's been a whole lot, and it's been a whole lot of bad. And I've yet to see anything that ESPN's doing that makes it successful or makes your general person who grew up with it want to tune in.
Yeah, like I haven't tuned in the way I used to. I remember back in the day, I would watch SportsCenter religiously. Like at 3 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, try to see the highlights. The top 10. Like you mentioned, the personalities, they were all there. And now I don't even know SportsCenter's still on, to be honest. And if it is on, nothing against whoever's hosting it. I don't think it's just the same attention grabbing that it has been in the past. So like you said, they're going in reverse. This was probably one of the biggest sports companies. Fox is probably making a run on them. And just what they've done, hoping to be the biggest sports company out in the world. I don't think it's working, because I read a little bit, they're focusing on the streaming game because everything's streaming now, but it's the same thing. I have ESPN Plus, haven't turned it on since I got it. I got it with that Disney bundle when I first got Disney, Disney Plus and all that. I don't even know what's on there. Don't even watch much. I probably should go on it because I think they have rugby. So I want to watch some New Zealand rugby and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like I say, the specialized shows that they create, don't really watch much of it on ESPN Plus. So what they're doing, they're going a certain direction, but I don't think they're getting the same viewership and the same attention that they used to, and it's unfortunate because, like I say, ESPN. A lot of people are going to remember it. You remember the good old days. Your dad probably was watching it all the time. Him growing up, and it's like it's just not the same. I think people watch more, maybe some clips here and there, and like with the take last week, podcasting and these smaller shows online are taking over. You know, because it's more not agenda driven with what ESPN does. We could go off script and still catch the attention. We don't have a relationship or have to please LeBron James, Patrick Mahomes, and say positive things about them. We could say the negative things that everybody and almost everybody other than KC fans are feeling about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, about the refs helping them. Whereas when you're on a network show, you have to stick to a script and within that agenda, because if you go off of it, you're going to get fired, and eventually could be blackballed, where you might not be able to go to another professional company. So
yeah, well, that's exactly right. And I'm kind of curious of your thoughts on this, John. Is there anything out there that you think ESPN can do to maybe change course and maybe save the network? Something maybe they have to get back to, or maybe start?
I think is like when they buy certain shows, it's almost like NFL Red Zone. Red Zone was always known for no commercials. Take commercials out of it. Just stick to what it used to be. Give what the loyal followers had with Red Zone back. Give them that back. Don't give the commercials. I understand you got to find ways to make money, but you're already making money with all the viewers you're getting. Have the little ticket at the bottom that has commercials that tells you, oh, go to Dick's Sporting Goods, use this code, get 20% off, whatever. Advertise that way. Same with like basketball. They took NBA from the TNT. That was probably more watched ever than anything ESPN basketball. Give them their daily and weekly show. I know it probably will cost, but if you give them back what they used to have that got the attention of what we all like to watch, you're gonna get the viewership back. So it's when they start merging these smaller companies that have a big following, don't change it, because I think they're always changing it to fit the ESPN model of commercials and making money, which I understand, but you're already going to be making money with the views that are coming in just from that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think that they need to capitalize on show-based television and just anything that you can do, viewership wise, tuning into cable or the app or anything like that. The only other twist I'd have on it is trying to capitalize more on what podcasts have become. I know that obviously they've done it with the Pat McAfee show and his podcast that comes along with it. But quite frankly, I think the bad part is for ESPN and where they effed up is Barstool is light years ahead of them on this, where all of their main shows, pretty much every show is podcast driven. Then there is, of course, a video version of it. Netflix, you can view it on, or name your pick. It's they have really capitalized off of a lot of that. They have a zillion different shows that you can tune into, tons of different categories, personalities. And I feel like they've done a really good job of taking, good, if you want to call them characters, personalities of these shows and capitalized on them. And then also, second to that, giving them freedom to kind of talk about what they want, say the things that they want, within certain reason, but those boundaries are so wide. And I think it's to a point that everybody kind of gets it, where, ESPN is just constantly meeting a quota, and it's just downright exhausting. And it's like, man, I'd love to tune in and not listen to what Jerry Jones is getting pissed off at with, something with the Cowboys, or Skip Bayless argue with Stephen A about LeBron James for 15 hours. It's like, dude, there's other things to talk about. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another thing that, Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp have done a good job on, is they've branched out a ton, and, they get a slew of different guests on, and, they've done great with their podcast, and they're hilarious. And I think that they're a great listen. And, again, it's just like all of these personalities, it seems like ESPN's missed they're 0 out of 100. And it's just, quite frankly, at this point, I guess, Pat McAfee's all they have to hold on to. That's why they're throwing so much damn money at him. And it's just, I think their saving grace will just have to be something TV wise, like you mentioned, and, try to make something work with that. But, and then of course, not changing things that they are buying, because, they're in that game where, they're purchasing out shows or certain things. But I just hate when they come in and really just have to try to make it a quota and do this and that. And it's like, man, you're changing the personality and the emphasis of the show altogether, and it sucks.
Yeah. Because I was going to mention, like, one past ESPN employee that honestly is killing it, Shannon Sharp. His show with Ocho Cinco, the Club Shay Shay, even just his, one-on-one interviews with not just athletes, but anybody, that he could get on. They're so entertaining, funny, and yeah, they're probably language-wise not meant for ESPN. But it's like, imagine if you let Shannon Sharp do that, your viewership would be through the roof. And, could it be because they're part of Disney that some of this is happening? Possibly. Disney's always downsizing. You could say that they're just struggling because their movies have sucked. Moana, for example, bad movie.
Yep.
I think they have all their chips right now, and they're, for Doomsday coming out in December, that has to probably make like a bajillion dollars for them just to stay even for the year. But it's just so much politics, and like I said, I get it, but yeah, Barstool's ahead of the game. I think they've shown what sports entertainment could actually be that isn't on an agenda. And I think I heard Big Cat from Part of My Take sort of say, I don't know what show it was on, because he's on like 10 different shows within the Barstool network. He would never go to ESPN now. It's almost like us, like that was always a dream, but the way it is now, that's not a dream. You go there to sort of give up your identity, your show, just for money. That's pretty much what it is. Because you're going to lose your following. You're going to lose a lot because they're not going to keep it the way you have it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's people are better off just kind of like almost creating your own company and network, and that being it, of like a podcast show, kind of like what we have going here. We could honestly call it our own little network, because it literally is. We have our own topics. We discuss what we want, and we don't have the overhead of, no, you have to mention LeBron James and the Cowboys and, Team USA 5 times in an hour.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a lot better. It's a lot better to listen. People like, I don't know, how listening to how people truly feel about something. Nobody likes robotic, ness to like anybody's personality. It seems capped. It seems fake. And I think that's what ESPN has really gotten away from, because you look back at Stuart Scott, dude could make up a bunch of, nicknames and crazy slogans. And it's just like, dude, you just know that dude came up with that 5 minutes ago, and it's just awesome. Yeah. And that's what made it fun. And they got away from it, and bleh, bummer, dude.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I think you're going to start seeing Fox doing a little bit more, because I think even their personalities that they have, they're probably a little bit better than some of the ESPN ones. What some of their topics too, they're sort of a little bit more edgy, I think, than ESPN. So that's pretty cool to see. But like I said, you're going to start seeing, I think more podcasts making a run, taking over, partnering. I could see some big podcast company partnering with like the SEC, for college football and doing a college football show. That's
Mm-hmm.
in collaboration with NCAA. And the athletic program, which I think would be great because, like I said, then you have all the exclusive interviews to players, all that, and just give the people what they want. Don't sugarcoat it. Be real. You know, not be biased. Because, like I say, it's the one thing we've talked about too. It's like it, we're fans of teams. We're fans of the sport, and we like a certain sports team. But when it comes down to for us, Banter on the Rocks, we're gonna talk smack about our team, even if it's bad. You know, we aren't afraid. We hope the team that we follow and we support and we love understands why we do it, but we do it because it's what people want to hear, and we talk the truth. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to be so nice at times. But when they do well, we're going to praise them and think we're on top of the world. But when they suck, we're going to say that they suck.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, just like Mike Dunleavy's sucked ass as GM lately. Like, yeah. I'll say it. Yeah, I don't care.
Yes.
Yes, it's just the truth. And you don't have to sugarcoat it. You can say it how it is. And yeah, I mean, so I think that's a great precursor as we get into NFL season. Everybody, that we will get around to talking shit at least one point about somebody's team. And then but just know that our teams are not left out of that shit talking.
Yeah.
It's a great point, John. And yeah, it's something we live by. So it's
good. Yeah. I was getting prepared to it sort of goes a little bit into what we were talking on NFL, but Diego Pavia, I was ready for all that slander that was going to come my way, but I'm glad I'll talk more about it later, but I was prepped for that.
I was real bummed out. I was real bummed out. I hope he gets another invite.
Yeah, we'll see. Camp. But yeah, that's ESPN laying off. We'll see what happens. And like I mentioned, I saw that Disney was laying off. I saw an Instagram post of someone that I think was working there about 16 years, doing so much within the company, and they were laid off, during this round. And it's like sometimes when they do layoffs, it's not even the people that aren't doing a great job. It's just they make too much money and they're just trying to save, and which is an unfortunate model at times.
Yeah, and it's a bummer for maybe all the newcomers, people that have been there for a few years, where you come to like somebody or somebody's seen as a mentor and they're gone. And what a lot of companies are doing these days is they're not replacing who they're letting go. So then it's like double the work for those other people, and they're trying to play catch up with everything. And sometimes that's another reason why stuff can slip and the product is a little bit less because everybody's so overextended, and stuff quality can go down when it's like that. So
I think that's the risk for Pat McAfee, because that guy's getting pulled into every single thing. His show, college football. He's probably going to start going into NFL because he is an ex-NFL player, doing WWE. Like, eventually this guy's just going to be like, I'm out. Give me my paycheck. I got paid, and peace.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, he's just going to cash it in after a while and become less of a personality than what he is now. And yeah, energy will run dry.
Yeah. So hopefully not. Like I say, we're Pat McAfee fans. We enjoy his content. So, but we'll see.
All right. Got my take here. Hard Knocks on HBO isn't much watch NFL show. That it isn't the must watch NFL show that it used to be. Yes, it's certainly changed quite a bit. I feel like, back in the day we were kind of let into like a lot of, behind the scenes things, and they kind of do a lot of that, but now teams are getting a lot more stringent on what they'll allow these filmmakers to come in and actually film. And it's like super limiting now, and it's become less fun to watch. And I feel like a lot of the players don't care quite as much, as they used to. It's always fun to, kind of listen in on, some of these rookies coming into camp or undrafted free agents that are coming into camp, and seeing them battle for a spot and the possibility of them getting on. And I've enjoyed, if I haven't enjoyed watching anybody get cut, but if they do get cut, I do get a big curiosity of, wonder what he's up to now. Like, wonder where he's at. Or, you'll be watching Sunday football and his name will come across the board and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that dude. He was on, the Lions and now
Yeah.
he's, on the Bears or whatever. So that's what's really cool about it. But I feel like these last couple seasons, I haven't even bothered. I did watch, I think the last one I really tuned in for because I was really curious was Caleb Williams' rookie season with the Bears. I did watch that one. And then the one I probably enjoyed the most, to be honest, was the Detroit Lions and them kind of becoming really successful. That one was probably going on 3-4 years now
Yeah, I think about that.
ago. I think it was Aiden Hutchinson's rookie year. He's coming into camp. Jared Goff was still kind of relatively new there. Will Campbell was kind of new, but he's building something and they're starting to get a lot better. And, they had a lot of great coaches, within the staff too. Of course now, new New York Jets coach, Aaron Glenn was on the staff at that point in time, and a lot of just really cool personalities. But now it's like, again, it's limiting. You don't get as much out of it, I feel like. And man, I can't even tell you who's going to be on Hard Knocks this season.
I think it starts. I think it's starting with Seattle.
Seattle. Okay.
Seattle starts it.
Could be good, I guess, if you want to. I don't know. Would have been. They already won. It's like, how's their focus, I guess, coming into this next season? I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be like what is our off season gonna look like, or pre off season, gonna look like. But yeah, I remember when Hard Knocks was the thing. You were glued on the TV Monday nights to watch it. Hasn't been that way. Even though it's streaming now, it's still not that way. Because I remember when it was on HBO Max. I think it was probably Detroit or before that. Like, I'd always want to watch it Monday night. I'd log on to my HBO Max and watch it right when it released. Nowadays, it's not even like that. Like I say, the last season, I'll be honest, didn't watch much of it. I think the Ravens were on it. I think they did the AFC North during the season. I'm a Ravens fan, but wasn't even interested. Didn't even look entertaining to me, honestly. And then also per social media, I didn't see many highlights of it. I think the most interesting one in most recent years was the Giants with their GM dumb decisions. He made his son should be GM of that team because would have made better decisions. But like I said, but that was the most entertaining thing, and then hearing Saquon going to Philly. That was about the most memorable part of that entire season. And like I say, it's just like, I don't know what they're doing. I think they're doing too much as well with the pre off season or off season, preseason, and then in season. It's like you don't need so much. Just focus on one and give us a good content. The old episodes. I remember the Raven one that a long time ago with Ray Lewis, Shannon Sharp, Terrell Suggs.
Yeah.
That was like one. Tony Saragusa. That was one of my favorite ones that I've watched to date.
Yeah, that one was great, especially because I think it was a rookie linebacker was imitating Shannon Sharp.
Yeah,
he's like, "Hey, Goose," and imitating his voice, and it was just it was so accurate and hilarious. And then watching them all crack up in the back of the room was great. And yeah, that's back when the product was super good and they weren't overdoing it. Like you said, we don't really need in-season stuff. We get enough of that through just playing fantasy football. Like, we'll do enough reading, and I enjoy watching and listening to fantasy football shows. It's something that, as I'm working or, on a run or whatever, it's a good thing to kind of listen to each and every week, and it's fun. And that's kind of like all the info I feel like I personally need throughout the season. I don't need to go watch, the Philadelphia Eagles and see how they're doing heading into week 9. Like, yeah. I don't know. The other show that I feel like has done a good job in all of this is the QB shows. I do enjoy those. Those are on Netflix, I believe.
Netflix, yeah.
Yes, I think Baker was on the most recent one, if I'm not mistaken. I do need to catch up and actually watch it. But I did watch, I think it was last year's or the year before, where they were in the Atlanta locker room with Kirk Cousins and then Marcus Mariota trying to battle and kind of get a starting role, and then I think he was shipped off, after a while because he wasn't performing. But I enjoyed that. I felt like that was a good, little vibe and preview. And I think another thing kind of working against the Hard Knock show altogether, John, is like they can't do the same teams, or they can't pick and choose. Like they're given such a small little cherry picked, thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, this would be the perfect offseason for the Raiders. Let's see how Mendoza's doing. This is the perfect season for how is the Tennessee Titans doing with their new coaching staff. It's that coach is on the hot seat. I want to see how he's doing. But that's the bummer. It's like you're given these teams that, like, I don't, like you said, the AFC North. I don't care how Aaron Rodgers is doing right now. I'm sorry. Mike Tomlin, he's going to go 9-8 again. Like, it's whatever. This season might have been a little bit more interesting because now it's new coaching staff in there. But yeah, oh yeah, be really good for us. And then we would really tune in. Those Mike McCarthy buttons would be getting real tight.
Yeah.
That's even his suit before he even got to Pittsburgh. It was getting snug. So I kind of want to tap in and see how things are going. Maybe I just got to follow him on the on socials and see, because you best believe those buffets are doing good.
Yeah,
real good.
Yeah, but it's like that, it's like take some of the comedic things that people are saying about some of these players, some of these teams, and sort of just put it into there for fun. Because I know Mike McCarthy probably is a big buffet guy. A lot of us are, but we make fun of it a lot that he's looking for the best buffets. I bet you there's some good ones in Pittsburgh. Use that to your advantage. How great content that would be. And like I say, hey, Mike McCarthy, just go to a buffet, talk strategy. Take your offensive line, see how many crab legs you guys down. Probably close the place down. By within an hour. But like I say, the content isn't the same. I think, like I say, it's also getting restricted what some of these teams want to be shown, because there has probably been some backlash. I remember the Rams one with before Sean McVay when they were releasing that was the most interesting time I saw people getting released, and I enjoyed it, and it was powerful seeing those released for the Rams when they first came to LA. And like you mentioned, Seattle, you won it already. I know what the team's going to look like. Don't really care. Not really that interested unless you're a Seattle fan, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're a Seattle fan, I feel like it was a little bit more interesting. This is going to be a deep pull right now. Me being a Niners fan, it took a lot of me to even want to go out and watch this, but I still did. It was the Seahawks fullback at the time. I know his last name was Robinson. Can't think of his first name. I think it was Mike. I think it was Mike Robinson. He was a good fullback, and he had like a lot of behind the scenes. He started a YouTube channel and he called it the Real Rob Report. And he would go in there. He would. It was back like Legion of Boom era. So it was like you're getting top notch players in there: Cam Chancellor, Sherman, Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch. Like it was just a hell of a locker room to kind of be around. And I thoroughly enjoyed those. So like that era of Seahawk football probably would have been far more interesting than what you're going to get now. Especially, just because a lot has even changed for that team. A couple players have already left, and again, like you said, and I mentioned earlier, it's like they already won. How much are you going to get out of it? On the other hand, I'd love a sneak peek at how are the Pats doing? Mm-hmm. How's Vrabel's offseason been?
Yeah.
With
all the drama, it'd be interesting. For me, one I think is like the Rams, making a crazy first round pick. Aaron Donald coming back, imagine catching that on the show. All the Puka drama still that goes around with some of the decisions he's made. Like I said, that's good content. The Raiders, like I said, Ravens new coach, but I'm not too interested in seeing it. I think only if Diego Pavia would have stayed the whole season, the whole offseason, it might have been interesting and fun just to sort of make fun of Diego Pavia and just sort of be like, yeah, we knew you weren't going to make it. You know, watching him get cut on TV, that would have been entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely, it would have been. The Niners, I've seen clips already. We have George Kittle. We have Bosa coming back from a leg injury as well. And then you have Fred Warner coming back from a leg injury. One leg looks significantly smaller than the other for all three players. It's scary what injuries can do to you and their buildup. I think the behind the scenes of what they do to get their bodies right to get back and how they do re-strengthen that leg is absolutely insane. It's already incredibly, it went through a traumatic injury, but then you're going to build it back up to have the same muscular stature that your opposite side has in such a short amount of time is a crazy concept to me. It's like, man, come regular season, those dudes are going to be super ready, especially if Drake Greenlaw coming back. That's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of good elements to that. And unfortunately, Kyle Shanahan getting into a serious car accident, prayers up to him. I hope he's doing, better. I think he's going to be taking a bit to get back, but still, it's kind of more insight to like, okay, what coach is covering right now? John Lynch, I man, I went back and forth with quite a few people over the weekend with John Lynch's statement about Brandon Ayuk and how he tried cutting it off, saying like, this is going to be it for the whole, off season. We wish him and his family the best and kind of want to leave it at that. And I was going back and forth about like, oh, they should just release him. Like this looks unprofessional. And I was arguing that, Ayuk did it to himself. Like there's nobody else to blame but him. They gave him everything he ever could have wanted, a dream contract, playing time, whatever. And then, he didn't try to come back and help the team. Again, another bummer factor to it all. And you can't tell me that the 49ers not cutting him looks even the slightest bit unprofessional in comparison to what Ayuk has done for the whole time. So
Yeah.
Again, selfishly, I think that would be a great show. And then another one I'd really enjoy just because I've seen some really bad lowlights of them is the Arizona Cardinals, because that team looks so bad. I hate to say it, and I think he's going to be, we'll get into it. He's going to be a high draft pick, I think, in fantasy. I think Jeremiah Love is going to get like 3 yards a carry behind a terrible O line. I don't think he's going to do shit.
He's going to have Ashton Genty type first year.
Unfortunately, I think so. Maybe more catches. It's about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see. Just maybe. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Hard Knocks, it isn't what it used to be. Like I say, it's not that must-watch TV where you sort of log into your streaming platform, log into your TV to watch. There's a lot more must-watch TV nowadays, I think, that's more entertaining. And like you mentioned, even just some of these players doing their own shows, their own podcasts, and showing their behind the scenes of what's going on is more entertaining. So I think one thing HBO should try to do is and work with the NFL, because like I say, they're probably going to see the numbers decline a bit, is my guess. I could be totally wrong. It could be probably the best year of Hard Knocks with Seattle. If it is, kudos to you guys. You proved me wrong. But like, why don't they focus on the entire NFL? Like the biggest news, fly there directly, like within 2 hours, and record what's going on. And like I say, make it just entire NFL, just breaking news and some of the behind the scenes of why it's happening.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. It would be, like a Hard Knocks rapid report type thing, and boots on the ground, get behind the scenes of whatever it might be. Could be locker room scuffle, could be drama on the sidelines, could be a traumatic injury that happens, God forbid, or a QB battle. You name it. That would be far better. I agree. I think that would be awesome. And then they get there the following day and see how things react. And it'd be badass. Yeah. It's a good idea. Yeah. Don't limit it. It's way too limited.
Yeah. So, like I say, even the Cowgirls, every now and then, they're fun entertainment because it's always their year and they just don't do well. And then I think what they should just do is just pan to the Cowgirl cheerleaders. because they probably get a lot more views than the Cowboys nowadays.
They probably do. Their own show that, Jen watched instantly upon release and binged it. It's a decent show. I'll give it to them. It's a good show. Probably the cheerleading is probably the best thing the Cowboys do. Let's be honest. It's probably by far and away the best thing they do.
Yeah, and honestly, I think what would be great about the Cowboys right now is sort of going into Jerry Jones' office, having someone just throw him the question, how do you feel that, what was the team? I think Argentina or one team has won more big games in Cowboy Stadium than the Cowboys have since they've gone to that stadium. Like I said, I think Argentina won like 2 or 3 games in their home stadium, where I think the Cowboys have only won 1 playoff game, which is mind-boggling in such a short time.
Mind-boggling, but incredibly believable.
Yeah,
it's I believe it. And then this is an incredibly random thought. How many refurbished rifles do you think Jerry Jones has on his wall? I just feel like he has a bunch, like a crap ton of just refurbished old West cowboy memorabilia, like those old school pistols and the rifles that you'd see at like an old school steakhouse. I feel like that's littered on his wall. Probably. Do you think he has at least a half dozen?
Yeah, he probably does have a half a dozen. It might even be like the small ones in like a glass case that you get, like the little puny ones are like that small, that from back in the day.
Yeah. And then just dipped gold horseshoes somewhere just hanging, that's the vibe I get. It's definitely in there. No doubt.
Yeah, he probably has like Troy Aikman just, hanging out in the corner, because that's probably the biggest achievement that they've ever had.
He probably has a little high chair for his son too. Can't blame his son for being around the team so much. I mean, it's an opportune moment, and God bless him. I mean, Stephen Jones, right?
Yeah. That's Hard Knocks.
Yep, it's Hard Knocks. All right. I got another one for you, John. I think it's something that we typically talk about this time here. So let me send it on over. And but see, everybody, we do talk a lot of smack when it gets into NFL season. We've been really rubbing our hands together at the excitement we have once we get into NFL season.
All right. So San Diego Comic-Con has become bigger than Hollywood award shows. Yeah, I think Comic-Con, if you haven't seen, it was this past weekend, and it's probably gets a lot more attention than a lot of Hollywood award shows because of the hype and what they do around that week. Some of the big things that I liked about Comic-Con this year, Avengers, that was really cool. Seeing that, the announcement, Ghost Rider, Black Panther, those were very cool
Ryan
announcements.
Gosling, right?
Yep, Ryan Gosling. I looked into a lot of those, and like what I think is so cool about Comic-Con as well is you don't have to go to Comic-Con, the convention. There's so many events throughout San Diego that you could go that are focused on like TV shows. So, there were a lot of like restaurants, bars, areas that were specifically based on certain TV shows, networks, giving out free goodies, entertainment. Even Johnny Depp was out there doing Ebenezer, sort of skit,
nice.
Promoting his Ebenezer movie. So things like that is what makes Comic-Con so much bigger than these Hollywood award shows. And also, like I said, these Hollywood award shows, I enjoy them because I enjoy watching movies. I enjoy watching who wins. But there isn't much more for the fans there other than just standing outside and maybe catching a glimpse of your favorite star and taking a picture from afar. I think if they found a way that you can interact, and even these stars are open to interacting, people asking questions, getting content, it probably would make it a lot more better and entertaining for everybody. But like I say, it's always just doing their questions. Um, I don't even know if TMZs are actually, some of these other entertainment networks. I know every now and then there's a few big podcasts that are part of the TV movie realm and that niche that go. And then like Guillermo with Jimmy Kimmel, always fun and entertaining, but I'm like, it's getting a little stale. We got to change it up a bit. And how can you make award season as big as Comic Con? I don't know. It's something I would probably have to think about a bit.
Yeah. My only guess is, of course, awards are for shows and movies that have already happened. I think a big thing that Comic Con's really capitalizing off of is all these announcements and just debuts or people like actual actors and actresses getting into character for things. We saw Ryan Reynolds getting into character as well this past week. We saw the big Spaceballs announcement and their timeline of all the following up movies and the plans for that. Black Panther was obviously a big deal, and it's and they've done a really good job. I feel like off of a lot of it. It's been great not only in the moment for everybody there, but all the clips that you see across social media. It's posted, for a couple weeks afterwards. You begin to see it all, and gets us kind of talking about it. Last year, we talked a lot about people's outfits and costumes across, Comic Con and what they wore, and it's kind of just a fun time, and it's where people themselves kind of get into the shows that they love. So it's always great. And a cool thing that I feel like not a lot of people know about is what you bring up, John, with all these other side shows. Like it's in little whatever you want to call them, pop-ups that are really great, and I feel like they do a really good job of it. And San Diego is just so consistent with it, and I feel like that this, for some reason, this whole Comic Con deal, it just comes across a lot better than what Fanatics Fest is. Like, I don't know why. It just feels more, I don't know if you want to call it professional. It feels more like they're taking it to a more serious level.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Gronk getting dipped in, cane sauce
Yeah,
for no reason other than sponsoring canes.
yeah.
Um, Kind of annoyed with myself too, really quick, with Fanatics, that I said that Mitchell and Ness had better quality, but I saw Fanatics owns Mitchell and Ness as well, so
Yeah,
they just own
probably.
fucking everything. It's ridiculous. But anyways, Comic Con, fantastic job as always. I need to watch more clips on it, but I did see quite a bit come through, and I thought the announcements looked great.
Yeah, yeah. And what's great about Comic Con, because like you mentioned with Fanatics Fest, I think Fanatics Fest is trying to do that type of thing, but for the sports realm, which I kudos to them for trying it, but it's just not working out the same way because you know there's stars that do things at Comic Con. So like I mentioned, Johnny Depp, he didn't have to get dumped in canes to get so much attention and have all eyes on him there at the street. He just had to do what he was doing for that show. You know, Gronk, Brady, they could have conversations about, you know, about that Super Bowl win with Tampa Bay and how, Gronk bent the the Lombardi, and Tom Brady just having an honest conversation about like, yeah, I was hella drunk and faded that day. That's why I was getting carried out. Like, have those real conversations. That's what I think true fans would appreciate, not this Kane stuff. Like, I guess you're gonna get paid a shitload of money to get dumped into the games, but that's just cheap, antics that I don't appreciate as much as what Comic Con does.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then, the other thing like that, I mentioned last week was like they seem desperate to announce things. Whereas, at Comic Con, they're like prepped and they have a plan to it and they just know that they're going to be able to announce things. But with Fanatics Fest, it's like that doesn't have to be your thing. It's like you don't have to try to ease LeBron into making a decision of where he's going to land. And of course, you want that to happen. And um, again, I'll go back to it. Subtle truth with the, respect the process. I think that was the biggest hint of all, because look where he's at. But it's just one of those things where they don't have to do all those antics. If they even just want to make it like Fanatics is known for their memorabilia, trading cards, make it a trading card convention, and memorabilia, and then have you could even make it a fashion week if you want. You'd probably have to up the quality of your fashion items, but if you do that, then you can debut a lot of things and kind of make that a bigger deal, because again, it's just one of those things. And they don't really have panels. I feel like you're just an audience member to listen to two people talk on a show, whereas Comic-Con fans are able to get up to a mic and ask actors questions. And Stranger Things, the guy who played what's his name, the villain of it all, long hair.
Yeah, the Vecna character.
Vecna, yes.
Jamie Campbell, I think it is. Jamie
yes,
Campbell.
I think you're exactly right. And somebody, he got up to a mic. He's like, "Oh, my wife loves you," and then he's like, "Oh, sorry," or something. And he's like, "No, I'm okay with it." And it was just, it's a funny moment where fans get that interaction. And I feel like at other times, you don't see it quite as much with Fanatics Fest. So I thought, maybe we'll get to that with Fanatics, but I just feel like San Diego does a great job with Comic-Con.
Yeah, I think San Diego, the whole city, the way it's laid out, having all those pop-ups, and maybe that's what Fanatics Fest needs to do. Move it away from New York, because I don't think you could do that in New York, all the pop-ups with the way the streets are, have it somewhere in like San Diego. I'm not going to say LA. I don't think LA might be the place for it either, to be able to do it that way. Somewhere else, but have the pop-ups, yes, have some of those booths inside, but have your NFL Red Zone pop up somewhere where you have people talking NFL Red Zone, having the host of NFL Red Zone there doing some talks and rapid fire questions, preseason, whatever it is. Have Mitchell and Ness showing off, exclusive clothing that you could, buy or raffle to win. Things like that. It could probably be a lot more entertaining, because, like I say, the only people that can see it are the people that go in there. Whereas Comic-Con, it's not just the people that go into Comic-Con, it's everybody that goes to San Diego. And I think that's also so smart for the city, because it's not just those attending the convention that are booking hotels, eating at restaurants. It's people just wanting to be in that area to see what happens outside of Comic-Con, that they want to be part of it. And like I said, they're making a killing, most likely. That's what I appreciate about San Diego. Padres, on the other hand, you guys just suck.
Yeah. Screw those guys. They just, but yeah, they're doing a good job with it. Maybe the people that organize Comic-Con have something to do with all the SeaWorld concerts, because they've done a fantastic job with that too. So San Diego, all things San Diego minus the Padres, are doing a phenomenal job and capitalizing on things. And sorry, Padres, you guys can't even lie properly about a hot dog you sell.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. So.
It's just bad for the Padres. But yeah, at Comic-Con, I think it's one of our goals for in the future to attend it. We'll cosplay, ask some questions, maybe try to get into some of those halls to ask some gritty questions and banter questions that we're really good at asking to throw some people off. But yeah, like I say, another successful Comic-Con weekend. A lot of great content. I would say, if you haven't seen too much of it, try to look at some, because there is a lot of good stuff that there was there. And yeah, like I said, Comic-Con is doing it right. I think a lot of these other conventions maybe have to take a little lesson from Comic-Con. But yeah, bigger than Hollywood award shows, though. Hopefully Hollywood award shows could do something to get as big as Comic-Con.
Yes. Yeah, hopefully so. Get back to the fun banter with a lot of it. Oscars were pretty good this past year, though. I will give them that.
Yeah, no, they were. All right, I'll send you this one, sort of on that same level.
All right. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is dominating the box office and social media. But here's our question: are people showing up because it's one of the greatest movies of the year, or because Nolan has become the only director who can still turn a movie into a can't miss event? Has he become bigger than the movie itself? Yes, I think that's a very valid point. I feel like it has gotten to the point where he has kind of gotten bigger than the movies themselves. It's one of those things where you don't really care about even the topic of the movie or what it's going to be. It's Christopher Nolan is directing it, and I got to go see it, kind of thing. Steven Spielberg had that run. You can name just a zillion different big wig directors that you're like, oh yeah, it's a so and so movie. It's going to be good. Like there's no doubt. Like we've seen a zillion of them, and they're always going to be great. And him going around, I saw him on, I think it was Jimmy Fallon recently, and he talked about how he has no form of like social media, computer. I think he said he had a flip phone. And a part of me is like, kind of jealous of that. Like that's, but at the same time, I don't know how I'd live without a lot of it because, it's just, it's what we do here. So it's just super relevant and needed. But, it's one of those things where it's like, wow, maybe that's what makes him so good is that he just is able to turn off, much of what's going around him and just focus on a few key things that are most important to him, probably family and then directing, and putting his sole focus into it. And I think that proves like why his quality is so great. It obviously seems like something he's always thinking about. And, I'm sure that he gets everything super fine tuned. And yeah, it's just been one of those things where it's like, you can talk about all the great acting in his movies. You can, really highlight a lot of that. But it's like, man, the key talking point is, and I hate to say it because from what you mentioned, Matt Damon did a great job and he got in super great shape, and much of the acting in the film altogether was very good. But it's like, that's kind of a side comment to Christopher Nolan did a fantastic job portraying the story and the book, and did a really good job with all aspects of the film. It's just really truly become one of those things. And yeah, besides Christopher Nolan himself, is there any other directors that you feel like you can name off, John, that you feel like really kind of have that Christopher Nolan effect?
Right now, it would be probably the Russo brothers, but only with Marvel and Avengers. I think when they're connected to Avengers, everybody is must see. And then I would say probably Dennis. I suck at saying his last name, like Valenzuela, who's doing Dune. Like I said, Dune Part 3, all his Dunes have been must watch. I think it's going to be one of the big things. So I think a lot of people are going to watch those. I think Zach Krieger is another one you could put into that category. The guy that did Weapons with his Resident Evil. I know a lot of people have questions about what his Resident Evil is because it doesn't look like zombies. But I think there's going to be a big showing because of what he did with Barbarians and Weapons. They want to see what twist he has to this Resident Evil. So I think there's always going to be directors like that, but directors like Christopher Nolan, where honestly, this is one of the greatest movies I've seen. The Odyssey, how it was made, but I think there's a lot of hype because it's just Christopher Nolan. I hear people wanting to go watch it, not because they want to watch Matt Damon, because they want to watch Zendaya and Hathaway. They like the book The Odyssey. This is Christopher Nolan shot in IMAX. The first time a movie's ever shot in IMAX 70 millimeter. We all want to watch it. And it's great because what he did was so great for the movie industry, for movie theaters. Really is showing that the movie theater business is still alive. And like I say, it's a can't miss event. If you don't watch it in theaters, you sort of just miss out and might as well just never watch another movie again. But Christopher Nolan, like I say, it's the one thing I kept on thinking of. Is this being watched because of his name or because of just the movie in itself? And I think if any other director was directing the Odyssey, and even if it was the same Odyssey, it wouldn't have been as big of a hype because it's not Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's just he has that tune in factor, especially right now. He's just hit after hit at this point. Does he have anything else in the works that you're aware of?
No, not after this. This is he pretty much just works on one, takes a little break, and then he's working on something else probably within the next few months, but nothing's going to come out probably for a year until he sort of does. I think with like the Odyssey, a quick like 10-second teaser where he just sort of has the name of whatever the movie is, because it was almost
Got it.
with do you remember when Tenet came out? It just came out and said Tenet, Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan, and everybody was hyped about it. Even though it's still a very confusing movie to me at times. I watch it so much and still trying to understand it really well. But like I said, a lot of people watched it because Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. Did you see the word how the words popped up on the screen? It said tenant. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, there's a hidden meaning behind it.
yeah.
I feel like
It's
that's
like
what
no,
people...
yeah. It's like no, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
there is the way the word is. It's read the same forwards and backwards. But like I said,
yeah, there it is. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. No, see, and that's the thing is like anything he touches is just instant gold. Yeah. And very few people have that ability. Even if they do have that ability, it could be short lived until they give out a movie that's like utter crap. But Christopher Nolan seems like that guy that isn't really going to let that happen. Unless people just get tired of him, because they just can't understand what he was going for in a certain film, and it took too much analytics to figure out the hidden meanings. But a lot of people still love that, and that's what he's really good at. So yeah, Christopher Nolan, he has that effect. I think he will going forward, and like you said, I'm very curious to see how well this film does as we head into award season 2, because like you had kind of mentioned, it could really dominate.
yeah, yeah. I think it will dominate a lot, but like I said, there's still so much time, or not
Mm-hmm.
even that much time, but there's a lot of hype of movies coming out within the next few months. Digger, the one with Tom Cruise. Supposedly Tom Cruise is gonna win awards because of that. Um,
Mission
he,
Impossible
he,
15, or
no,
just kidding.
he wishes,
Yeah.
but like he's coming out. Sebastian Stan, I think I heard, is also another name that is making a movie coming out that is going to be pretty big and probably could get him an Oscar, Golden Globe, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it will be a big movie. Um, what was I going to say? With what you were mentioning with his interview with Jimmy Fallon, with Jimmy Fallon, with the no cell phone. I think, and you hit it, I think, right on the button where I think he does that purposefully because he focuses on the movies. He doesn't focus on all the attention outside, because I think he mentioned it in that interview too. I think he was honest. He's like, if he had a phone, he'd be addicted to it. He'd be looking
Mm-hmm.
up a lot of stuff, and it would be distracting to his art. And the one thing he said, I think in the interview, was he has so many people around him that they tell him all this stuff. Whatever news is coming out, it's like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what TMC said. This is what's going on with that director in this movie. Well, he's like, okay, cool. Now let me get back to my movie. Not trying to look into it. Sort of like, okay, I appreciate the info. Let me get back into it.
Right. Exactly. I think comparatively, Nick Saban did something similar where his wife would control his email. He didn't really have a phone. He didn't even know how to write an email, let alone probably use a computer. So again, a guy that master of his class
Mm-hmm.
when it came to college football.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. Again, they have the people around them that will tell them the things that they need to know. Other than that, their focus is their focus, and that's it. What makes them, so godly and masters at what
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. But I was gonna ask you. I saw this on another show, like a clip, but I wanted to ask you first. if Christopher Nolan could make anything, bring back a franchise, remake of a movie, what would you want him to do?
Hmm. That's really good. There's a few ways that I could see him go. Um, man, what if I maybe I'll give a few choices. Um, for some odd reason, because we're just such big fans of it, I kind of want to see him do some type of portrayal of a horror film. I think he could make it easily like eyes fall out of my face, scary
Yeah.
somehow. And, just the theatrics behind it all would not make it like he wouldn't make it look cheesy. He would make it look hyper realistic to the point where I wouldn't turn off a light in my house for a month. Like it's just like I'm sure he would nail it. So if I were to go a particular franchise, one that comes to mind would probably be like The Exorcism. Um, just because of how iconic of a horror film that is, and the remake of it could be just insane. That's one avenue. Another one, I mean, if he did like a remake of like Saving Private Ryan, some type of war film, kind of getting into stuff like that, I feel like any type of like older war film would be really interesting. Just Saving Private Ryan is, of course, one of the more iconic ones, and I feel like he could do a good job with that. I'm worried I'm going to run into a film that he directed. I'm just saying, if he could remake his own film, but I feel like I know his films enough. And I kind of want to give a third. Maybe James Bond. Has he directed any James Bonds?
No.
Those are just such a classic. And I feel like the theatrics behind a lot of them have been great. And I feel like he could do a really good job of it because it's a worldwide type of film. Um, he could hit up the great destinations. He could probably make a great villain arc story to a lot of them. Um, and then I'm sure that he would be able to cast it super well with James Bond. So, yeah. How about you? What do you think?
One I was thinking was horror, and I think
Mm-hmm.
because he's always part of Universal, so going with the Universal monster. So I was thinking
Mm-hmm.
like either Frankenstein or the Mummy. I know they've tried to remake the Mummy so much that it hasn't been as successful. So like Frankenstein, the Mummy, those old school monsters. The creature from the Black Lagoon, maybe doing like a trilogy of it where at the end they all come together like the Avengers or something. It's like a monsters universe, which Universal tried to do the Dark World, which was the monster universe, but was a big fail. So that was one. Um, one that I would just want to see because I'm a fan of it, and I wish it was a little bit better. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think
Fantastic.
that could have been. It was cool. I enjoyed it, but I think Christopher Nolan could take it a step above and just amazing, where you would be blown out of your mind, and it wouldn't be like a bit of this laughing stock that the TMNT has been um, previously. And then the one I heard that I can't remember the podcast. It was on TikTok. I heard, but they mentioned Star Wars, rejuvenating
Mm.
Star Wars. Like I say,
Okay.
they need a big boost, and Christopher Nolan could be that guy.
That's a great point. I think Star Wars, I did kind of have that in my mind with like some of the first movies that came out, like trying to his go at those. Arguably some of the best ones that first were released. What he could do with Vader, like having a film where Vader's still alive and around, and man, be badass. Be so badass. He could do a good job with that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he could maybe try Minions. Be pretty good. No, it's fine. Just so films he wouldn't get his way into. You think he would do good with sports films?
I
Like
was
a
thinking that. I think that could be a little difficult, but I
yeah,
think he could find a interesting way of making it.
yeah.
And like I say, I don't know if you've seen like the behind the scenes of how they did the Odyssey, like no CGI. you know, Christopher Nolan would probably hate all our AI takes because he's so anti AI, and kudos to him.
Yeah.
But even like one of the scenes with the whirlpool, how he used jet skis to like create that look live action, and then sort of putting some CGI into it, but still using realistic effects. I was like, dude, you're nope. I don't think many people would have thought of that.
Yeah.
So the creativeness he has, and the difficulty I think that movie was, and how well it came out. Like I say, kudos to him.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. Did you think about just putting a drain at the bottom of it and pulling the plug? Could have
Could
done
have,
that. Nice.
could have. Yeah.
No, that's great. That's brilliant. And I see stuff like that is what separates him though. Like there's no shortcuts to any of it. Um, AI is great. It could be seen as a shortcut where we want to be on its good side because you never know. But just him being able to be innovative for the smallest things and scenes, it's crazy. It's awesome. So that's the separator. And then another one that I was thinking of, John. What about like a mob movie, like Goodfellas?
Yeah, that could be a good one. He could make it good. I think mob
Okay.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Be really
he's good at
violent.
that drama. Sort of bringing a little bit of the Batman trilogy with like Inception, sort of combining that a little bit.
There you go. Yeah. Hell yeah. Be badass. Get Leo DiCaprio in it somehow. Get Matt Damon, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, yeah. He has a lot of people that he always uses a lot of the same characters. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, could be good.
Be solid. Shout out Christopher Nolan. Great work.
Yeah, yeah. But that's our banter takes. As always, agree or disagree. You think one of us has lost our mind? Let us know in the comments. And what side you're on this week. But we'll continue on. We'll do a quick Wolfpack soccer check-in. Our Wolfpack check-in. This is where we talk all things football, from Tim's ongoing Wolves fandom to Premier League, EPL, all the leagues around the world, heartbreak, overreaction, everything that happened around the football. And now the World Cup has officially ended. We talked a little bit about the end last week. So not too much World Cup talk, but we'll talk a lot. So grab your drink, join the pack. We'll get into some football talk. And Tim, it's more a question for you. A full week after the World Cup has ended, how are you feeling not having the World Cup and games almost every single day?
Bored. Really bored. I'm repping Munetaka Murakami this week because shout out that badass. He's a great player. That's all. My only highlight of sports right now is literally that. Like it's random baseball garb and the absence of it. And I feel like I'm still our friendships that we've built through New Zealand has helped carry a lot of my social media activity and what pops up on my feeds where we're seeing where Elijah Just is going. We're seeing where
Mm-hmm.
Tim Payne's going to play next year. We're seeing where Finn Sermon is getting ready and playing with the Portland Timbers now.
Mm-hmm.
It's where everybody's kind of going, and I feel like that's been nice to see and kind of prepped me. And then in turn, Raul Jimenez is reporting this week for the Wolves. Really excited for that. So my focus is just kind of turning into that, and luckily EPL, everything's going to be starting up here rather quickly, and I'm super excited for that. MLS has started up. I've been looking at getting some tickets to LAFC, so I'd love to do that. The champion, I guess it's like some championship league that's going on, right, where some La Liga, or not La Liga, but like Mexican league teams are going to be coming up,
Mm-hmm.
like Toluca and Chivas are going to be playing here in LA. So those games seem very enticing and exciting to go and watch. And LAFC happens to have a good team, and it's a fun watch for sure. They have the player from South Korea, correct, that played on the national team there, Son. And yeah, that's kind of where my mind's gone. And then, of course, seeing a lot of news with Argentina. They're still dominating a lot of news somehow, where the red card was not handed out to Paredes, which blows my fucking mind that he doesn't get a red card. But I guess FIFA's really getting deep and thinking about it. Is he even going to play in the next World Cup is a big question. I know you kind of mentioned that as well, John. And then just kind of looking forward. what we're gonna see in the next World Cup. And
Yeah.
it sucks that it's 4 years from now, but it's at least we have a lot of quality football to be seen.
We do. We do. Yeah, it's the same for me. It's been a little boring with the sports world. I think I've been catching up on some TV shows, catching up on
Mm-hmm.
some sleep, not worrying too much about soccer as well. So, um, yeah, EPL starting up, seeing the signings for teams. Chelsea, I don't know what we're doing. We signed that redheaded kid from Argentina.
Boy,
I don't know how I feel about that one yet,
can
but
pick
we'll
fights
see.
well.
But like yeah, it's sort of just looking forward to EPL, all the leagues starting up. In Europe, MLS has been somewhat entertaining. I think they're doing a great job keeping us soccer focused. I think they're getting a lot more fans too because of the World Cup. So they got to keep up with that momentum. I don't know if it's a CONCACAF Cup or something, but or the Confederation Cup that you're talking about. That's always a fun watch as well because you see the Liga MX teams coming up to play MLS teams to see who wins that cup. It's almost the Champions League of North America.
Yeah,
So that's what I
very
see.
cool.
It. Very minimal though. I don't think they compete with those teams in Europe, but yeah, it's been sad since the World Cup has ended. Um, I think for us true football fans, it's always a hard time once the World Cup ends. But now we look forward for 4 years, start looking at the coaching. A lot of drama with like the Italian team right now with coaching signings. Um, their advisor, I think it is, or I forget who it is, but dropping out just 14 days in because they wanted to sign a coach that he didn't want to in there. So it's just watching the drama unfold with all these teams.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting one. I saw Klaus, just hired for what country? Germany. Yep. And he said he will quit if he is given a tough time. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll ever give him a tough time, but if he's going to have one, he said he will quit on the spot. So good fair warning, I guess, for anybody who's
Yeah.
curious. So I thought that one was interesting as well. Yeah. Besides that, man, it's been much of the same. Catching up on like random shows. Um, golf, golf has been very interesting to me, especially getting back into it and playing more often. But yeah, no, I'm definitely itching for more. Uh, and then of course the UFC league, we can't forget about that. South Island United. Hope all is well with Brad, in the fan club going on there. And yeah, I guess kind of looking forward to that. It's going to be
Yeah.
another one.
No. Yeah. So there's a lot of football coming up uh, in the future with that. But yeah, just wanted to get your take after you've gotten into a lot of football, got into the World Cup, and sort of how you feel after a full week of no World Cup talk and no soccer.
Yeah, just bored. I always go back to that Dave Chappelle, a meme of just him scratching, wanting more, and that's
Yeah,
how I feel. I want it. But hey, again, leagues are starting up, and we need it. We really need baseball. So down. We need more sports, and at least we're getting it. So lots of great football, and soccer going.
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, that's our quick Wolfpack check-in. We'll go into our Banter Sportsbook. So this is where we put our sports knowledge, prediction, and reputation on the line. From the biggest games and hottest storylines to championship races, surprise contenders, and bold predictions, we're covering everything happening across the sports world. So no betting slip is required, just sports talk, strong opinions, and plenty of banter. So we're going to open up our books. We'll start with the NBA. Biggest news: LeBron James to Philly. Um, I will say, surprise to me. I was expecting Golden State, um, but not surprised either. I know they were on the top of his list. Um, I I want to get your take first, Tim, because like I said, LeBron rumor was, and it was a high rumor going to Golden State, your team. How are you feeling after this move for him?
Big, I'm happy I get to still talk shit. So I'll be talking a lot of shit about LeBron. That won't stop. The gas pedal just got tapped a lot harder. Biggest ring chaser of all time, and a big Kobe quote has actually come back with his interview that he was having, and I think it was just him talking about anybody that has to go hop teams for chasing a ring isn't doing the job right, or something along the lines of that. And I think it's very valid because you look at all-time greats, you look at MJ, you look at Kobe, you look at Steph, did most of their work and they're winning all with the same teams. Steph and Kobe haven't seen another team. And, MJ, chalk it up, whatever you want to call the Wizards stint, you can name it. But, it was far late in his career, but, the writing's on the wall. LeBron, of course, can choose his own destiny. The pull he has at his age to still garner as much attention as he has with this choice, props to him on that. You can't shake that away. That's pretty all time. But the biggest fucking ring chaser of all time. It's outrageous. It's and it's just crazy. And I hate to say it. Well, I'd love to say it. I don't think they're gonna win. I really don't.
Ooh.
I really don't. I don't think they're gonna win. It's a hot take. Call it a hot take. I don't think they're gonna win. And I do love Edgecombe. I think that he's a great player. I like Maxey. I think he's a great player. I like Jaylen Brown. I don't mind him. I think it's too many people wanting to be a leader in one room. You look back just a few months ago, John, everybody was saying Tyrese Maxey's the leader of that team. Now all of a sudden you have Jaylen Brown, who was for a small period of time seemingly took that over. And then after that, LeBron's coming in, sure as hell he's going to be a leader. And then you mix Embiid, how much time is he actually going to play? And then you have Edgecombe. Is he going to feel some type of way with LeBron coming in? He's going to be fifth fiddle of a starting roster. Maybe he won't care at all. Maybe he sees it a big opportunity to learn and kind of go about it through that. But man, it's so much intermingling. And I think that's why the Heat had a little bit of trouble, at first, but kind of worked their way through it. But it's one of those things that, hot take, call it what you want, they'll make the playoffs, but that's about it. I just don't think they're going to win. And at this stage of LeBron's career, he's going to average the upper teens. It is a great signing in what they've done, and how little he signed for is good. And then as far as the Warriors go, man, at this point, me, Chris, and Evan, we were talking about it in our little chat, our Bay Area sports chat that we have. And it's one of those things that if Steph gets traded to a contender, good for him at this point. I don't blame him for if you would want out. I don't think he's that guy, but if he would want out just for a shot at it, I don't blame him, and I think he kind of deserves it, because I feel like the Warriors have really just taken a big dump on his final years in the NBA, and it's a real shame. Mike Dunleavy, what are you doing? Like, can I have your job? Or like Porzingis, the signing, you paid him way too much money, and it's you had great draft, but besides that, you haven't done shit. You haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So
you don't trust a Stephen Poncho?
No, fuck no. But no way, man. Oh, dude, no. It's we need to trade pods. I don't know what we do with them. We were talking Sabonis. I don't know. Can we get Sabonis on the cheap from the Kings? Kings aren't doing anything at all. Might as well become the Seattle Supersonics. And then you have DeMar DeRozan still on the market. He's kind of interesting as a vet addition. But besides that, man, I don't know. Do we trade for Kawhi? You want to do a trade, John? Clippers Warriors trade if it falls through?
I'll have to see.
We'll give you pods.
I'll pass on pods.
You sure? He's pretty good. Give you 13 off of 4 of 18 shooting. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll do it for us with what we want to do. No, he's young, but not the kind of
Yeah.
young I want. I
Oh,
probably would take Bronny over Pods right now.
yeah. Yeah. Hey, I agree. I said I'd trade Pods for Bronny, basically,
Yeah,
Vanderbilt as an addition.
yeah,
Yeah. Sorry, Pods, but
yeah,
pass.
yeah. No,
Pure love.
but yeah, the on LeBron, big ring chaser. That's what I thought. I truly people talk, and like I said, LeBron fans are gonna probably hate us for our takes and what we're talking about. But what I thought this entire time is if he doesn't go, if he went, whatever team he was going to, it was ring chasing, unless it was the Cavs. I wouldn't have said it if he went to the Cavs. And I wouldn't say it if he would have gone to like the Hornets, a team that just sucks balls, that isn't going to do anything. And it's sort of him sort of showing that he is probably one of the greatest of all time. And he will go down in the history books as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But for me, not a GOAT. What he's done, you mentioned it, Miami. He went to Miami. It didn't work out. They had their press conference. Not one, not two, not three, not four. Only got two. Barely got two. Got lucky
Yeah.
they got two. They should have
Yep.
probably only had one. And they lost quite a few. Went back to Cleveland with Kyrie. Only won one. LA got a Mickey Mouse trophy. I'm always going to call it a Mickey Mouse trophy. Everybody calls my Dodgers World Series a Mickey Mouse trophy, and we still won two more after that. So, shut it. But like I said, he hasn't done anything, and he's been the biggest ring chaser. He's always creating these super teams, and it's just like the conversation's over. LeBron fans have to stop this conversation because you can't say he's not ring chasing. He went to the team that's the most stacked and could win a championship. But I'm with you. I don't think they win it. I think they're gonna blow it. Embiid just isn't that type of player. They're not gonna have that. They're not gonna gel well to start with, and they're gonna struggle in the playoffs. I still think Boston's a better team. I still think the Knicks could take them on. Um, Miami is going to be hard for them because they got the big guys that nobody's going to be able to get past. And like I say, Embiid's not that guy. LeBron's not that guy. After that, they don't got the big players to sort of manage that. So there's so much in the East that he probably thinks it's an easy ride. They're gonna struggle. Like I say, sorry Philly fans, nothing against you guys. I I enjoyed Maxi, Edgecombe, big fans of them. I think they're futures of this league. But with LeBron going there, it's gonna ruin. It could hurt their careers a bit because I think LeBron, I had this in mind, and I don't know if I should say it, but LeBron's the Mbappe of the NBA, where
Mm,
Mbappe is the main guy, the star. Everybody thinks he's the best, but every team he goes to, he doesn't win anything. You can't win anything, and that's what I think of LeBron.
yeah. So very well put. Yeah, because what's the trophy of the most goals with the World Cup? Golden Boot.
Golden Boot.
Yep. So Mbappe won the Golden Boot because of that, All-Star game. That was the third place game. And, he capitalized off of that. And, if we're getting into it, it goes even deeper than that, and I said this over a year ago now. LeBron is the biggest stat compiler in the history of sports, all sports, the biggest stat compiler. He's played for years and years and years. He's been blessed with, great health and longevity and everything. And he has just compiled absolutely every stat category. He's going to continue to do so over the next season. And it's just all of this, team hopping, everything just puts a real damper on anything he's actually won because of it. Like he hasn't stuck to his grits and won it in one, swoop. It's always been combining with somebody else in order to get it. So it's again, it's just one of those things that he took up a lot of time for the NBA, and I'm sure that they have a sigh of relief now that they can actually put a cable schedule together, because he finally made his announcement. But Yeah, I just don't see him getting it done in Philly. I really don't. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Knicks are a better team still. Give me the Knicks. Crazy to say, but Knicks are a good team.
Yeah, I think what the Knicks did this year, they have so much confidence that I don't think they're scared of this team. They know they could do it. They're a team that probably a lot of people didn't think they were going to win it this year, and they dominated. You know, say they dominated San Antonio, which is probably one of the better teams in the league. So yeah, I don't think the Sixers have it. Um, a lot of people will say that, Kobe had to get Shaq, had to get Paul. I would say Shaq was the only guy that's probably a big superstar. Paul Gasol was never an elite superstar when he went to the Lakers. I think he developed into a star and then, Hall of Famer in LA because of Kobe. I don't think LeBron has developed stars going to play with him. He's always had already stars part of that team. You know, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, AD, Kyrie, Kevin Love. Like I say, he hasn't helped develop stars the way Kobe did. Because like I say, Paul Gasol was in Memphis, a great player, but not at the caliber of Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Once he played with Kobe, he developed into one of the better big men in the league, and I think that's because of Kobe's mentality, that Mamba mentality. Same thing with Jordan. Jordan, he had Scottie Pippen, he had Dennis Rodman, but they weren't those type of players until they played with Jordan. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that has developed into an elite great player because of LeBron. Because like I say, it's always already set players. In Philly, you in Philly you can't say, oh, Edgecombe's going to be a star because of LeBron. Edgecombe's already a star without LeBron. He doesn't need LeBron James at all.
It's a valid point and plays a big factor into, how is Edgecombe going to react throughout the season? How much is he going to get out of LeBron throughout the season? It could be very minimal. It couldn't be a lot. And, I've listened to, some, just even interviews, and one of them was with Austin Reeves. And the way that he kind of had the interview, yeah, he probably thinks, LeBron, cool guy, everything. But there's a part of him that almost seems like really upbeat and excited. It could be the big contract he just signed, of course, but it could also just be the freedom of not having LeBron around anymore and unlocking, what the core that honestly I think the Lakers are going to be a much better team this year without
They
LeBron,
are.
and what they've built with that roster all together. It is going to be far and away, a better squad. So it's a very valid point, John. I can't really think of much, like who's Kyrie already had, he was number one overall pick, without LeBron. And yeah, man, there just wasn't, everybody's always established wherever LeBron goes. He can make a team better, but he's not really developing these players into anything else,
Yeah, because once he leaves the team's sort of shot in the foot, and they're struggling for years. Look at
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland. Once he left Cleveland after winning that championship to LA, Cleveland sucked for quite a few years until now. They finally made a run. Miami. They still, ever since LeBron left, they haven't been a great team. Spoelstra's still there, but he's just there, I think, because he's Pat Riley's guy. But that's not a team that I've been ever. I think anybody's scared of. And now the Lakers. Lakers might be the one team that maybe does a little bit better, but it's not even because LeBron developed that team. It's because of Luka. I think Luka. I wouldn't say he developed Austin Reeves. I think Reeves did that himself because he had a battle through everything LeBron put there. But it wasn't even LeBron trying to help him be a better player. LeBron wanted him out, I think. So it's like he isn't doing anything for the players. He's doing it all for himself. And like you say, he's a stat compiler. He's the Mbappe of the NBA, and the conversations just have to end. Like I say, you can't say LeBron is the GOAT because he's a ring chaser. That's how he's getting his rings.
Yeah, no, he's going and searching for him. That's the only way he can do it. And um, yeah, all that forced trade rumors that Rich Paul was pushing on with Austin Reeves that we talked about last year. Same thing. It's just super forced. I'm sure it wasn't fun to play with. Um, the other thing that he lost in Miami that I forgot to mention was the cookies. I don't know if you know the Pat Riley story, taking
I
his
heard it.
cookies
I heard
away.
that.
So, it's a whole lot that he can have taken away from him. So it's yeah, man, biggest ring chaser in the history of sports.
Yeah. I think big question. Bigger ring chaser, LeBron or KD?
Ooh, man, that's tough. LeBron, just because of the leverage he has in the eyes that every decision gets, and then he has to make it this really big deal and spectacle every time he does it. It's always just me, me, me. It seems super selfish. But when KD does it, it's like low key. But yeah, he's going to a team that is successful, like the Warriors, and then gets a couple of rings, his only rings with them. And then since then, he kind of just argues his way through certain positions, but it's never like a massive spectacle, that LeBron makes it out to be. So
yeah, I agree. I think LeBron still is the biggest ring chaser. I think the biggest ring chaser success has been KD with the success he got with Golden State. But I think LeBron, just the spectacle around it is a bigger ring chaser, and especially what he's doing right now, where, like I say, it should have been Cleveland to me. He should have gone back home to Cleveland, ended his career there. That's a solid team. Maybe win another ring, end it that way. Big storybook ending. Right now, they win a ring in Philly. Kudos to Philly. They got a ring. But there's always going to be an asterisk, ring chaser, and it's not going to help his legacy. So, like I say, LeBron, Hall of Famer, will go down into the history books as one of the best NBA players. But when I look at the GOAT conversation, he's not it.
Yeah. No, he's not. And final question I have for you, John. What are your thoughts on him commuting via helicopter from New York to Philadelphia? You see that?
No.
Yeah. So he's going to live full time in New York and then commute to Philly, which I guess JJ Redick did something similar to that when he played for Philly. He lived in Brooklyn and then would commute over. I guess it's going to be something similar for LeBron, but I guess it's like a 40-minute commute, but it's like, man, you're quite a distance, and you're separating yourself from the team,
in the city,
in the city altogether.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought it was like you're there but not there.
Not a fan of that. Like I say, I think if you play for a team, you got to live in that city, deal with the city hardships that everybody else goes through, the traffic, all that. Like, yeah. Get a nice big house outside of Philly, the suburbs, could be a 20-minute helicopter ride, and then take a helicopter, but you're still in Philly. You're showing the team that you're part of Philadelphia or supporting Philadelphia. Have your weekend house in New York if you want, and go there on the weekends when you're not practicing and it's not game day. But I'm not a fan of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, me neither. It's going to take a lot of time, and then, yeah, feels too secluded from the rest of the team.
Yeah, but no, but that's something big news. Warriors for me, they're just throwing away Steph's last careers, man. I feel bad for you guys. Like I say, good luck with pods. He's your say grace there.
Pods.
Just get a pod jersey, Tim. He just got to.
Oh, brutal. No, I don't think I need to bring back like a Bobby Sura jersey.
They're probably discounted right now still, even though he's still on the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see Steph asking for a trade. He's gonna end his career in Golden State because I think he's a loyal guy like that, and he's committed to that team. But I don't know what you guys could do this offseason. Like I say, go back for KD or KD on the table. I think Sabonis is probably your best bet right now. Losing out on all these big free agents, not being able to sign one. Like I say, GM, you guys need to switch because you guys are looking like Sacramento. Yeah. Sacramento South right now.
That's real bad. I don't know what we're doing. It's yeah. Mike Dunleavy, man, fucking brutal. Like, I don't know if you're like, I don't know if ownership is like capping you on what you can and can't do too much, but man, you're better than this. It's so garbage. Like, we had to have been doing more. It's too late now. The names are kind of off the table unless we want to make some big trade. Dre, if he wants to go over to Philly and sign with LeBron, because technically he's a free agent, go ahead at this point. Wouldn't really mind to see him go, to be honest with you. Gives us more room to kind of sign somebody else, because I'm kind of tired of Dre also. So, yeah, he could do that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I can't think of another name off the top of my head that would be a viable choice. I think it would just be Kawhi if for some reason it doesn't work out with us in Toronto. And then even Toronto, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram. If it doesn't work out, that's another option.
Scotty Barnes would be legit.
Yeah. Phoenix looks like they're reloading, so I don't think Phoenix will let go of anybody. Utah's, they're banking on all their young players. Memphis got their guy, got rid of Ja.
Portland's adding versus anything. Chicago?
Yes.
Not really much. Josh
Giddey.
He's good.
Giddey for pods. It's not a bad one.
In an instant. Just, yeah. Instant, yes. I'd probably break the button saying yes. What's his face? Jaden Ivey is available. Nobody wants to sign him because of his piss poor performance in the playoffs, which is crazy because he's a player that was supposedly supposed to be getting a max contract. Nobody even wants to sign him.
It's not Ivy, it's Duran, right?
Duran, my bad. You're exactly
Duran?
Right. Yep, Duran. Yeah. And he really played his way out of a contract. But you're right, it's Duran.
Yeah. But like I said, I think that'd be a good pickup for you guys at a minimum. Prove it year, 1 year. Show us what you could do with Steph. Yeah. That wouldn't be too bad.
Klay Thompson return?
Yeah. Never know.
No, probably won't happen. But yeah, man, I don't know. Not much.
Yeah, like I said, it's not looking too good for the Warriors and the Clippers as well. Like I say, I think we're not going to be like a great contender, but we can make a run. I think we're rebuilding once this Kawhi trade, if it happens. I think it'll be good for us bringing Brandon Ingram. I always like Brandon Ingram as a player, so I don't mind that. The signings we got, Rui, and then our rookie, playing decent during summer league. It wasn't showing off as great, but like I say, it's year one. Give the kid some time to grow with the experience. So I'm curious to see where the Clippers go in this rebuild and restart, and hopefully never trade away all our draft assets for one player, because that's just the dumbest move. Because like I say, OKC's unstoppable because of us, and I apologize to them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's brutal. They're a pain in the ass.
Yeah. But yeah, that's NBA. Anything else NBA, Tim?
Jokic, if he doesn't want to sign with Denver, we could trade for him. Pods for Jokic.
Imagine.
Sounds good.
Imagine. Man, I would be like, what the hell happened?
That'd be crazy.
That'd be
Porzingis and Pods. Take double P. Take PP with you.
You never know. Never say never.
Never say never.
But yeah, that's NBA, and then we'll do quick NFL talk. Big news today: VITA asking for a trade from the Bucks. Big time player, defensive tackle. I know he has a big contract, but rumor has it wants to be a 49er. I saw Fidel's comment. Why does he want to be on the third best NFC team?
From there, come on, jackass.
But yeah, Vita Vea, that's a name I think everybody's going to be interested in right now. I think if it's San Francisco he wants to go, San Francisco's going to find a way to get it done. You guys get that done. If your players come back from injury 100%, best defense in the league.
I agree. Yeah. Led by Fred Warner, getting Greenlaw back. Secondary's looking good. And then
So
the most dominant D line in the league. It's going to be unstoppable. And that's all the reason in the world. Like, just teaming up with Fred Warner all together. Like, who wouldn't want that opportune moment? That's the answer for Dal. That's why he'd want to go there. And be absolutely incredible. And then quick shout out to Stribling, our rookie wide receiver. Dude is a beast. Oh my gosh. Esteban had texted me on Saturday out of the blue. He's like, dude, have you seen Stribling? He's massive. And then I looked up clips of him. He's like in a DK Metcalf form. Like him on one end, Mike Evans on the other. Dude, like we're looking
in the slot.
Good. Pearsall in the slot, and then don't forget we have Christian Kirk now as well.
Kirk. But he got hurt. I heard.
Power plant. This is the power plant. What happened? What did he do?
Could be
like out for the season? I didn't even see this.
No, I think just an injury. Not out for the season, but he's hurt right now. Saw that.
Don't do it to me already, John. You gotta.
So it's what I read today, Tim. I was going to bring it up to sort of see if this power plant fiasco was still happening. But
I thought we were going to turn that off.
turn off the power. all of the Bay, all of Santa Clara. Like, yeah, you guys don't got power for the next 7 months while the football season goes.
True 49ers fans would live like the Amish to
and they would. I think everybody would give up electricity for the 49ers to stay healthy for an entire season.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd do it.
Yeah,
maybe.
But yeah,
wife and kids.
Like I say, but yeah, Heard he got injured, not season ending, but just like I said, not a good sign.
No, we don't need that already. That's crazy. And then can't forget Kittle. He's a great addition. There's a lot of talk and chatter too about calf strain. Did not practice Monday. No, it's really it's day to day until further evaluation.
But the calf strains those are scary ones because they could develop into something bad. So
you're right.
Let's hope
precursor. Yeah.
So let's hope he's okay.
That could be chatter a little bit because this is kind of the second part of what I talked with Esteban about was a lot of chat about Debo, a Debo return. I would say vet minimum or don't worry about it. Don't even bother Debo. Don't you talked so much about getting out and doing your own thing and fantastic season with Washington, dude. You were unreal. Psych trash. But anyways, if he wants to come back vet minimum, utility type role, sure. I don't mind it. But and then he has to do a apology and host a dinner or something for the team. Show he's back in full support.
Yeah, but 49ers looking good, especially if they get Vita Vea. The other team I think Vita Vea may consider, I just think it's out there, the Rams. Rams, I think, are still the favorite. I think he might go there if Aaron Donald doesn't show up. I think he might go there if Aaron Donald does show up, too. Imagine that D-line.
Probably. Why not?
That D-line with Aaron Donald and Vita Vea right there. And I think stronger than San Francisco, though.
Yeah. Trent Williams is a beast, but yeah, that's a problem. God, if we want to get a message from above, just our prayers, somehow, some way, Diego Pavia becomes starting quarterback for Arizona. and he goes up against Aaron Donald, Vita Vea, Myles Garrett.
Man,
That
that's
D-line.
just crazy.
Oh man. And then he slings it for like 300. He's just a beast. There you go, Diego.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
But my thought
Anyway.
was, I put it here. Diego Pavia, 49er. Mac Jones, I think, is going to get traded. I think someone's going to look for him because he's a great possible starter. Cardinals could be the guy the place he goes. Maybe does the Sam Darnold type of thing. Takes him to the promised land. You guys need a backup. Short man Diego Pavia.
Yeah.
Enough.
Nah. I mean, it's. You know what? Why not? Sure. Sign him up. Sign him up. Just because I want to see how he does. Yeah, you know what? Sure, go ahead. Just don't trade. I don't like the trade thing. I think we really got to keep everybody set in stone with our quarterback core because Purdy, jeopardy of going down. It's happened quite a few times, unfortunately. We need a strong asset behind him to step right up and take control of the team. So if Pavia is interested in a versatile third string role where maybe we could utilize him as a running back or water boy or really anything, just all team, any role,
Utility bench player.
Yeah, all team trash talker. Get into it with the fans or something for away games. Yeah,
could be.
Never know. Could be good.
Yeah. But I feel like Mac Jones is that one name that still could be moved. Because like I say, Arizona, Carson Beck, Jacoby Brissett, not a team that I could trust anybody there. Yeah, they'll make a move. Even, imagine a first rounder. That's tempting. That's worth it, I think.
For a first rounder, yeah, that is pretty good. What's even better is Jeremiah Love.
I don't think I'll get that one. That's wishful thinking right there.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking right
McBride.
there.
We'll take McBride. He questioned some Cardinals fans the other day, so maybe things aren't going too well, and he could pair up with Kittle. Be pretty good.
Like I said, Michael Wilson. It's a good addition to your work.
Great.
Someone like that, and then the other team I think may look into Mac Jones possible. The Vikings. Like I said, Kyler Murray, JJ McCarthy. Not really trusting any of those guys. I would probably trust Mac Jones more with what he did last year.
Yeah. Are you sure you don't trust JJ or Kyler? Just a little bit? No?
No.
Those guys, man.
Tim, what's the video game that's going to be coming out soon? Isn't Call of Duty coming out this year?
Ooh, yeah, and we're getting GTA?
And
this Call of Duty looks good. It does look good. And we crap on that game. But in my opinion, it looks very good. And they re-released Black Ops.
And Kyler Murray, his reputation with when Call of Duty comes out. So,
yeah, it's a problem. That's a real problem. And then he's there. Him and Nine aren't getting along very well at all. I don't know if you saw that interview of they asked oh, how's it going with pairing up with Kyler, and how's off season going so far? And they gave polar opposite answers of Kyler's yeah, no, things are going great. We're talking, being good teammates. And then Nine was basically no, we're not saying anything to each other. And I'm just here to compete.
Yeah.
But yeah, bad vibes altogether. Vikings are a hot mess. Shout out Richie. Yeah, don't like the vibes over there. So Mac Jones to the Vikings. Justin Jefferson would look really good in a Niners uniform. So guy wants
more
out.
Wishful thinking. More wishful thinking right there.
Mm-hmm.
But
just a little bit.
But yeah, I think that's the biggest NFL news. Like I said, after that, there hasn't been much movement. Like I said, Donald sounding like he could make a return, but still questionable. I think he did practice with the team a few weeks ago. So that's a scary thought. The Ravens, I haven't looked into the Ravens too much, but like I say, I'm excited to see what we do this year. New coach, rejuvenated team. Lamar looks excited, happy. Still got Derrick Henry. Let's hope these wide receivers we got could perform this year, and it could be a good year for us.
For sure. Do you guys still have Keaton Mitchell?
San Diego, he's in
left.
Chargers.
Ooh. Are you mad about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty pissed about that.
And then especially
he's
for
the
him
guy
to go to
that's
Fidel's team?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. To
It's
the
like Darren
Chargers.
Sproles. Yeah, Darren Sproles 2.0. Harbaugh's going to use the hell out of him. Yeah, the better, the arguably, the better Harbaugh, which questionable NFL level. But yeah, lost to his other brother. But yeah, no, that's wow. And then other quick little thing. This is totally random. BetMGM I saw had a next 10 seasons who's going to win NFL MVP. And can you take a guess? Two current college football quarterbacks that their names were in there over the next 10 seasons to win NFL MVP. One of them was in there multiple times.
Current college football? So they're playing
Correct.
this year in college football.
That's correct.
Manning is my guess.
That's one.
The second one, that's gonna be.
It's gonna be tougher.
Big school.
Yeah.
Ohio State QB.
Yep, Julian Sayin. You nailed it.
Sayin?
Yes, they have Arch Manning winning twice and Sayin winning it once. What are your thoughts of the fascination of Arch Manning winning NFL MVP twice over the next 10 years?
I don't know if I could believe that yet. I got to see this year of Arch Manning to sort of see if I could believe it and decide to put money on it. Julian Sayin, I think I have a little bit more trust in just based off what he did his first year at Ohio State. But like I say, Arch Manning, he has the tools, but he just hasn't shown it in the college level. So I want to see what he does this year. If he does a lot better, he ended the season off pretty strong, but I can't. Twice for Manning, I'm surprised. Probably it's once, and then Julian Sayin once. Fernando Mendoza on that list at least once?
Yes, I believe he was on there twice, but not until like 2032 to 34. I think he went, like they had him winning it 2 out of 3 years. Something like that. Yeah. But he was on there. Development, Arch Manning would have won it 6 or 7 years ahead of him, which is a little odd. Late bloomer, I guess, with Mendoza.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay. But yeah, good guesses.
Yeah. It took me a while to really think, but then I was like, Manning, Texas, and Julian Sayin, Ohio State. Because, like I say, I like, who else? I don't even know who's... Underwood, he didn't show much at Michigan this last year, so I can't really put him up there yet.
Moore with Oregon.
Yeah, I don't trust Moore. Mini Mahomes, wishful thinking.
USC's quarterback.
Yeah,
Mayava, right?
Mayava. Yeah, he could probably have a good chance in the future.
Cal's quarterback.
The
better lefty out of Ua Beach, Hawaii. The better Tua.
The better Tua. But yeah, that's interesting. That's crazy that they go 10 years out.
It is crazy. AI, we don't question much from you, but we will question that. That is that's a spicy take for sure, with Arch Manning winning it twice. And then my last little snippet was Jerry Jeudy saying that on a live he threw up the number 4, saying he prefers Deshaun Watson to start at QB over Shadir Sanders. So the Browns, man, I don't know. Let's give Dylan Gabriel some love.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, and let's have this segue into our next segment, Fantasy on the Rocks.
Perfect.
So this is where we talk about fantasy football. It's our Fantasy on the Rocks. So whether you're chasing a championship, trying to survive the waiver wire, or debating one late start or sit decision before kickoff, we got you covered. So grab your drink, set your lineup, and let's win some fantasy football. This week we were just sort of going to talk strategies and just some of the biggest news from the fantasy landscape. And one of them I had on this list. Browns, Deshaun Watson returning. Good decision, bad decision. Is he going to get picked up by people? Hearing that, Browns are going to be dumb and they're going to give it to him. I agree.
I do too, because I don't think he deserves to play another snap in the NFL. He didn't even deserve the contract he was given in the first place. But quite frankly, they're going to be moving like that. That team's going to be a hot mess. I think anything Browns, I'd want to kind of stay away from. Maybe their tight end, Fannin, right? But he's coming off of injury, right? If I'm not mistaken, from the end of this last season.
Yeah.
I'd say that I don't want their defense, obviously, with no Garrett now. Just hard pass altogether with anything Browns.
Yeah, maybe just a running back. Who was the running back that performed?
Major injury though.
Did he?
Yeah, because I had him in. I had him in another league, and
I think it was towards the end of the season too. So it's not even going to be a good start.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's. It was a pretty bad injury. I don't know if he even plays this season. He's from out of Texas. Forget his name right now. He was great. He had a great rookie year. I guess Taylon Green, because I'm just a big fan of dual threat quarterbacks. And I think he looks like an absolute beast. He certainly was one in college. If they ever give him the rock, if you're looking for a flyer, desperation, I don't know what it is. I think that dude, just pure rushing wise, could get you a lot of points. But I doubt he'll even sniff the field, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would give, if I was the Browns coach GM, it wouldn't be Deshaun Watson. I would literally just cut him, take my losses. Don't want that negativity in my locker room. As of right now, Shadir Sanders. That's who I'd give the rock to. Start week 1.
Yeah, give it to 12, right? It's not bad. Take that. Or is he going by 2? Or is he still repping 12? I saw 2 for some reason. He was wearing a 2 jersey the other day.
He could have moved now with all the changes.
Yeah. But why not? I mean, he was, I won't say he was great, but he showed better glimpses than any other quarterback play with the Browns last season.
Yeah.
Give the kid a shot. You drafted him. You knew what was coming along with him. A lot of attention. Why not give the world what they want? It's not like you're competing for anything. Yeah.
Give him that experience. See if he could break out. But yeah, still, I think we talked about it. One of the strategies going into this year, Browns, don't touch for sure. Yeah. Maybe kicker. Those field goal points. If you're just gonna go late kicker, that's all that's left. Could be a good option. I don't know how consistent he was last year. But like I say, if they're not going to score touchdowns, they might go for field goals. Just, garbage time field goals.
Yep.
Could be a good pick.
Are they in their new stadium yet? Or not yet? That's still being built, right? So. They're several years away. Yeah. So still going to have a lot of those lake effect elements there. It's just dicey. You never know how Cleveland games are going to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a hot mess. Definitely a steer away team for sure.
Yeah, and then more just landscape of fantasy. We talked about it a little bit. Kyler Murray versus JJ McCarthy. Vikings locker rooms are already in shambles. We don't even know who the QB is, and even through with these two QBs, I wouldn't pick up any of these QBs in fantasy myself. Um, and I think it also hurts Jay Jettis. I think the consistency we saw it last year with Jay Jettis, the top pick, and didn't perform the way we wanted him to because of QB play, and I think it's going to happen again this year.
Yeah, completely agree. Jettis is going to slip. He's probably going to go maybe a little bit further down than where he probably arguably should, even just because of the unknowns. You don't know what you're going to get out of Kyler. You pretty much know what you're going to get out of JJ McCarthy. I think if just I have no input, or like I haven't really wanted to even put focus on the Vikings. I just have a weird hunch that Kyler's going to be the starter there, and it's really tough to visualize any sort of consistency with any wide receiver or offensive playmaker in that organization if he's quarterbacking.
Yeah, he'll be rushing a lot, possibly taking it himself. So, like I say, if it's Kyler Murray, maybe a late draft pickup to be on your bench for QB for your bye week. If he stays consistent, like I say, if the first few weeks he's running a lot, getting points that way, yeah, keep him on the team. But if he isn't consistent, drop him. There's probably a lot better quarterbacks to get to just ride the bench.
For sure. Yeah. No, it's and then Addison's healthy. It's another threat to, take away receptions there. Yeah. Not liking the Vikings that much.
Yeah. Next one I had on the list, Atlanta. Tua versus Penix. That sounds like it's going to be a tough competition for Atlanta to decide. I don't like any of these guys. I'm a Tua fan. I liked him in Miami. I like the guy. I like him as a person. As a football player, can't trust him. Wish this lefty was, a star that he probably should have been. And then Penix just, I think we hyped him up so much last year, he burned us, and I'm just pissed at him. I'm sorry.
I agree. I am pissed with Penix still. He really let us down. He had a decent first game, right? If I'm not mistaken, or did he crap the bed right off the bat?
I think he had a decent first game, but after that, it was like,
yeah, it was like a pretty average game. But it's like, okay, we drafted him really late, and we were kind of okay with it. And then it was really bad. Like he didn't even break 5 points for a couple of weeks. Yeah, no, bad things altogether. And then Tua, I don't know. Yeah, no, again, just a terrible quarterback battle. Everybody's going to suffer from that. That's, wide receiver, Kyle Pitts being tight end there. It's going to be rough. So it's going to be Bijan.
Yeah, Bijan, I think, is the main guy to go with in Atlanta. Even, like I said, I think if it's Tua, for sure, Bijan should go number one because he's going to get the rushes and he's going to get the drop passes, all those dumps that Tua is really good at. If it's Penix, I still think Bijan's up there, maybe not number one. But like I say, it's both just bad quarterback play. Once they start getting down, so many points, they're going to just bunch up the box and not let Bijan run. So I'm very iffy with Bijan. I would say if I had 1-1, Bijan isn't my 1-1. And I see him going 1-1.
Damn. It's a hot take. Who are you going to wait? You'll tease it. Wait. That's a good tease. That's a really good tease.
I'll wait to give you my 1-1.
Yeah.
For another episode.
That's a really good clip and a tease right there. Yeah. But yeah, no, I can see that because, I mean, the inconsistencies in an offense, even with somebody as elite as Bijan, it doesn't feel good because you just never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get. This team Should have done a lot better last year with Penix. He was supposed to be the guy. You brought Tua in because you don't trust in Penix. And like I say, Kyle Pitts, it's another Kyle Pitt year. I think we're all going to be saying this is the year he finally breaks out, and he's not going to break out. He's still going to have a dud of a year. This team in general, I just think they're not meant to succeed. So,
Yeah.
not trusting too many. Like I say, Bijan, if he drops to a certain place, I would pick him up, but not, like I say, not my 1-1.
Is Drake London a top 15 receiver there?
Depends on who it is. I don't even know. Like I say,
With
he
both,
had a
right?
good year last year, but I just don't know if I trust this team this year. Everybody
Yeah.
knows it's Drake London. That's who's good. And that's what I'm saying. You know, it could be Kyle Pitts here because everybody's going to double cover Drake London, leave Kyle Pitts open, but Kyle Pitts just hasn't been the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's rough. I like it.
Yeah. And then the other competition, Cardinals, Brissett, and Carson Beck. Another bad, bad pick. Cardinals. If I'd pick someone, I'd put Carson Beck in. I've seen him play in college. I think he can maybe have some success, but I don't think he will have too much. I think he's a great role player, guy to get you some points, but not that star to get you over the top. I think there's only two guys you picked there in Cardinals: Wilson and Trey McBride.
Yeah. Leaving Love out.
Yeah, love's there, but just late.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I think he like we mentioned earlier, he's going to be the Ashton Jeffrey of this year, where people are going to take him so early because of the name, but they're not going to be able to do much with him
Yeah.
because his team just sucks.
Yes. He feels like that he's going to go far too early. And people who have had a glimpse at even just the video I watched, you don't want much to do with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Much at all. It's
Yeah.
rough. It's really bad. The defense was getting through really easily. And I don't think that's because that's an elite defense at all.
I don't think they're an elite defense.
No, it isn't. But yeah, no, it's. I agree though. I think Carson Beck might as well. He's old enough to be considered an NFL vet at this point. He's an old man. So why not? With all the experience he's had in college, might as well just kind of throw him out there and let him get a chance. So and then yeah, I agree. I think Michael Wilson, McBride, only two factors you're really looking there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy because Harrison Jr. was supposed to be the guy, but I don't know how much I could trust him. He hasn't performed in the few years he's been in Arizona, and I don't know if it's a team, that dynamic, if he needs to change the scenario, but guy that was good in college, showed a lot of promise, but just hasn't performed in the pro league.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's rough. Who else is out there with any sort of rookie QB ass do we have?
Raiders, Mendoza.
Do you think that's a good point though. Do you think Mendoza gets much playing time at all this season, if at all? Or do you think he just second string full season?
Who's the other quarterback?
Kirk Cousins, and they signed him to a lot of money. His agent is incredible. Really good agent.
Hey, whoever that is, sign us up, man. Get us those contracts. I think he might sit the first half of the season, if that's the case. If it's Kirk Cousins, I think Kirk Cousins still is serviceable. Be behind him, Mendoza learn, and because I think Mendoza's a smart guy that he could learn a lot just sitting on the bench, learning, picking Kirk Cousins' brain, and I think Kirk Cousins knows this as well. I think they gave him a lot of money because they're like, hey, you are going to start for a bit, but we need you to teach this kid. Get him pro ready, get him NFL ready, and then he's going to take over. But hey, you got a nice payday. So I don't think he starts immediately. I think he'll come in probably week 6, 7.
Okay. And do you think he comes in because Kirk gets hurt? The team is not performing very well. What do you think it might be?
I think that they are performing decent, but Kirk Cousins having bad games, and they want to stay in a possible playoff.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Because that team looks pretty solid this year. And it's not my hot take. I'm not going to say that yet. I gotta really look at everything for my hot take of the season, but
tempering yourself.
they're looking pretty good this year. I'm excited to see what that team does. I think they build a good offensive line as well for Genty, so I think that's why it's a promising team this year.
For sure. Would you redraft Bowers?
Maybe.
Yeah. It was tough. We had him last year, right? And it was just injury ridden, and the season.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And that's where it's tough. But he's just one of those guys that, man, when he's on, he's going to be the top tight end in the league. So,
along with he's going to be one of the top tight ends this year. But like I said, I think their wide receiver room is also going to improve after a whole year together. And like I said, Kirk Cousins, I think, is a lot better than Mariota. And then if Fernando Mendoza could get pro ready by week 6, 7, the late pickups that you get for these Raider players could be gems going into the playoffs.
There you go. It's a good point. Yeah. Whoever you can get late season production from is going to be key. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And I think that's the only rookie quarterback that got taken in the first round this year.
I think you're right. That's really it. So we'll see. Yeah, Dolphins. I mean, they have a new quarterback situation now. I don't expect much from them.
No.
It's going to be rough.
Yeah. I think my strategy going into this year is the same as always. Running back heavy first rounds. It's always my take. Like I say, the wide receivers, the first round of wide receivers are elite. You get them, you're set. But running backs are scarce and very, very minimal that could really make up points. Yeah. And like I said, it's if you could get the back-to-back running backs be set, you'll find a lot of great wide receivers later in the rounds that will be serviceable. But I think, I don't know if that hurt us last year. I think last year we maybe took a little too early of a chance on Bowers, which I don't regret, because like I say, if he would have played healthy the entire season, we would have been okay. I think quarterback hurt us. I think I'd still take the same route unless a top QB drops pretty further than what we expect. I'll still take, I'm not going to say yet who my QBs. I need to look at the QBs a bit before my late QB pickups.
Right. And I think because of the way our league is and the people that are in our league, they know how many times you've won, John. Obviously, with our combined team, we had won the year prior. So everybody had seen that and literally took up all of the QBs when we were about to take our QB.
That was the funniest thing, that we waited. I think we were going to round like 10. And it was like there were still solid QBs, but I think everybody saw our board. We had no QBs, and they were all just being punks and took up all the QBs.
Yes.
Just to mess with us. And I was like, okay, I see.
And it was a bummer because I think we were going to pull the trigger on Drake May. And then Fides got in there and swooped him, and he ended up having a great season. Yeah. And I think that was the true killer. Again, I wouldn't really mind doing that again. I think that the tempers will be in the attention will be a little bit off of us, hopefully, and maybe focus a little bit more on Armando's strategy. And he really did a great job at stockpiling running backs last season.
And I think that's what he did. He did the back-to-back running backs. the
Yes.
heavy load of RBs, went with wide receivers. Because, like I say, the one thing is like, yes, running backs, you get a running back hurt, you don't have wide receiver back or running back backups. You're pretty much screwed. But you don't see as many injuries for the running backs. Always big thing, just handcuff.
Mhm.
Biggest advice: handcuff all your players and running back. But wide receivers, one of them drops, waiver wire.
Absolutely.
Easy
Yeah.
to find a wide receiver in the waiver.
Hmm. Yep. Much more availability there, and choose teams that have a great handcuff too. So that way, even if the player's playing solid, or you feel like the starter's role is in jeopardy, you have a great backup to swoop right in anyway. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be a fun season. I love talking
yeah,
about this. I'm glad we're back into it.
yeah. No, we're back into it. We'll continue talking weekly for the next few weeks of our top tens. We'll start next week with the big one. We'll start with running back. I think that's the biggest position. So next week we'll do our top 10 running backs.
Love
Give
that.
you our takes why. Um, and then we'll continue on because, like I said, I think we're about 5 weeks away. So we'll do running backs, wide receivers, QBs. We could do a combination episode of tight ends, and defense, or defense and kickers. Kickers, like I said, just wait last round. Defense, just wait last round. Unless Aaron Donald signs, take the Rams early on.
That's one that you grab early on. Niners, if they get Vita Vea, would be another one.
Yeah,
But yeah, the Rams. I mean, that's the cherry on top if they get a Darnold coming
yeah.
back.
Or if they get Donald and Vita Vea, they're
Oh,
probably a top
that's
pick.
yeah, that's gonna be really the highest draft pick we've ever seen a defense go.
Yeah,
ADP
yeah,
wise.
yeah. So we'll talk a lot about that, and then to end our fantasy, predictions before the beginning of the fantasy season, we'll give you all our uh, deep sleepers and busts. That if you pick them up, you probably will have a bad year.
Give you the Boston Scots of the league.
Of the league.
Shout out Daniel. That's all
Yeah,
time, right?
that's
I'll
so
never
always
forget.
he performed that. It was funny that year he said that he was playing. Boston Scott was playing and doing well when he
Yeah, I
did
think
touch the
that's
ball.
right. I think he came in that season right with Philly. I think it
Yeah,
was.
and he had a few good games where we were like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, too funny. That was
Yeah.
the best.
But that's our fantasy on the rocks, where we'll talk fantasy football, and we'll end with just real on the rocks. So this is where we talk about movies, TV shows, streaming hits, theater releases, whether we're going over the blockbusters, breaking down binge-worthy seasons, or even just going over our summer movie game right now. Grab some popcorn, pour yourself a drink, let's roll into the reels. Get any chances to watch any movies, Tim?
Movies. I think I maybe mentioned it last week. I did see Minions. I enjoyed Minions. I thought it was a good film. Movies, no. There's been kind of a lot of family events over the weekend. Didn't have a chance, but I really want to plan out a night where hopefully the kiddos can go with the grandparents and we go watch the Odyssey. Me and Jen, because that's just a phenomenal film. It looks to be, and everything you've spoken on it. And then I do need to watch Obsession, start streaming a little bit more. Haven't got into that because I binged Hawk on Netflix with Will Ferrell, Jimmy
Okay.
Tatro. Really cheesy comedy, and I thought they did a great job. I'm a big fan of it. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's perfect because it was all golf, and
Yeah.
it's yeah, I just love Will Ferrell and everything that he does. And Jimmy Tatro, a huge fan of his ever since the YouTube days. So I thought he was really, really good in the show as well. And it took a turn, several turns that I didn't think it was going to go to, and they did a great job at it. So
Okay.
I recommend. It was a great show, great
Okay.
watch.
Gotta watch that one. I've seen it there. I haven't had a chance to watch that one. Didn't watch any movies at the theater, but did watch Apple TV movie, The Dink. Have you seen that
Oh,
one?
I've not.
No.
No,
So it's
what's it
about
about?
pickleball. Pickleball. So ex tennis
Wow.
player gets hurt working at a country club with his dad, um, and then picks up pickleball. So a pretty funny movie. Um, I would recommend watching it. cheesy movie, but funny. Has Ed Harris. Yeah, overall, like I say, if I gotta give it whiskey glasses, I give it a like a 3 out of 5.
That's good
So
for
I
an Apple
enjoyed it.
TV. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Nice.
that's a good one. Uh, gonna start prepping. Gonna rewatch Spider Man's because Spider Man comes out this weekend. If you don't have your tickets yet, go buy your tickets.
Yeah,
Help the cause.
Dude, I swear. And actually, under this shirt, I'm wearing a no-sleeved Spider-Man shirt that I bought from Target. So I'm helping your fucking cause, Sean. Because it's, dude, it's everywhere.
I was about to say, it's everywhere. You see it.
The marketing for this fucking film is like the biggest. And then Odyssey didn't have jack shit for marketing, it felt like, in comparison to Spider-Man. Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. Hey,
every single commercial right now.
It's outrageous. And then, have you seen the? We always talk popcorn buckets. Did you see the popcorn bucket that Cinemark is going to have?
No, I don't know if I've seen that one. I've seen one that's like the web hand.
Yes, and it was like the 2-in-1 though, right? It was like a popcorn bucket / drink, I believe.
Wait, is it? I didn't know it was that.
I think it was like popcorn in the hand, and then the straw goes through like the wrist.
Oh.
I think it's 2-in-1.
That's crazy.
I swear I saw a straw, and it made sense. It was like, and a lot of the comments on it said, "Finally, a popcorn bucket that makes sense, where you're not grabbing popcorn out of the horse's ass."
Oh man, that Odyssey one that's still one to remember.
That's one to remember. And then the what was the one right before that?
Supergirl.
Supergirl. If you want to call it a cape or the jacket, trench coat.
It's a jacket, you guys. Okay.
Wrinkles. A lot of wrinkles. Oh, good stuff though. It's it was a really cool popcorn bucket. It's just, God, you would choose the film where they're just doing the most freaking marketing. And then I saw Tom Holland and Zendaya were surprised by like a pop-up performance at one of the premieres. What else do they want to do? I thought Moana was much, but
like I say, I'm not gonna celebrate just yet, but I think it will. I think it might be another back-to-back year with this. Yeah.
I think it easily clears 100 mil. I think it does. Easily.
It should. It should. If it doesn't, it's because someone sabotaged it, and it's probably you, Tim.
It's probably
you're probably gonna go to Santa Clara to take out all the power over there. Say it's for the 49ers, but it's actually to prevent a lot of people watching that movie.
That's correct. And then I will probably release a ton of non-poisonous spiders into the theaters, and then they're going to make a bunch of webs. I'm going to be like, oh, I thought you guys love Spider-Man so much. How about walk through some webs? And that'll deter some people too, maybe.
Yeah, no. But we'll see. But yeah, not much movies. And like I said, we could go a little bit into Comic-Con. Movie trailers. You saw the Avengers one? No, not really. No, just the announcements, character announcements. But I need to watch. Okay, pretty good one.
Looks good.
You messaged me, I think the day after last week. You saw Other Mommy trailer?
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, scary as hell.
Yeah,
so scary. Just the scene of just them in the kitchen at the beginning. Dear Lord. Yeah, that's something. Then to always be fooled by like, if that's your actual mom, are you going to get tricked?
Yeah.
It just Backrooms vibes when we played, and just getting fooled. And it's going to be a great film. It's going to be a really good horror film. And Insidious making a comeback. You see that?
Insidious, yeah, I saw that one. Never going to the dentist again. That's a scary scene now.
Yes. Yeah, it's just like people who in Final Destination with the you go and get your LASIK, and then the laser beam decides to go off and really laser people.
Yeah, I'll never do that.
Same thing with the dentist. Oh my gosh, terrible. Yeah. And then they bring people back permanently now, I guess, in Insidious. So
yeah, I'm curious what that one will be like. But still, I think a good scary movie. And then Resident Evil, that full trailer came out. That was really cool because, like I say, now you see a little bit more of like that Resident Evil piece. of like the video games. So like I say, if you get a chance to watch that one, watch that one.
Okay.
But I'm excited for that movie too.
A lot of hype around that one too. That'd be really good. We might have to. When do these come out? Fall?
Yeah.
Next spring?
So
Okay.
so we'll look at maybe a fall challenge.
Love it.
We'll probably have. We'll see who's won. We'll make a competition for who's won because it's going to be Dune and Avengers, and I know number one movie will have to be Avengers. So
Yeah.
we'll find a challenge to make it fair of who gets that first round pick.
John, it's going to be 2035, and I'm going to be still saying run it back until I win. It's going to be terrible.
You're the one that's always like rock paper scissors. 2 out of 3. No, 5 out of 3.
Yes.
Just
18 out of 32. Come on. Yes, that'll be me 1,000%.
Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, so some good movies coming out. Like I said, this weekend. It's a big movie. Like I said, not trying to hype it up just because it's on my list, but Spider-Man is always a big movie. So
yeah, and I did turn on Homecoming the other day for the kiddo.
nice.
We watched like a little bit of it. It's a great film. So I'm guilty. Good time to rewatch, people.
Yeah, good time to rewatch. But that's the episode for today. Thank you everybody for listening, hanging out, bantering with us today. As always, your support keeps this thing growing every single week. If you enjoyed the episode, do us that favor. Hit the subscribe, follow button, leave a rating, and share the show with somebody who loves sports, movies, pop culture, and just chaotic debates. And don't forget to jump into the comments with your own banter takes of the week. We want to hear your hottest opinions possible.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for tuning in each and every week. We appreciate all the support, all the comments you guys give and provide. We've gotten quite a bit of them, and we love each and every one of them. So thank you so much for always tuning in. Enjoy your week ahead, and I guess go see Spider-Man. Peace.